point, I was like, well, enjoy death. And I just shoved him down the stairs, and he fell all the way down. He starts crying. I can hear my parents dropping things in the kitchen and coming, and I'm like, oh no, I'm going to get in trouble for pushing my brother down the stairs. However, I won't get in trouble if we're both injured. So I threw myself down the stairs and then pretended to be really hurt. I was like, oh, no, Mama, Dada, we're both injured and there was no quarrel whatsoever. We were having a great time when this accident happened. Now we're both equally in pain. No. It didn't work. You told them.
If you weren't an idiot, you would have run down to the bottom of the stairs on your own, then rolled around pretending like you weren't hurt.
I'm an idiot.
So
that's like a child equivalent of a murder-suicide. Like, what the fuck, man?
Dan is a fucking idiot. He told another story about how he doesn't understand menus.
Every interaction between him and a waitress takes forever. There's like a ring of confusion where she's explaining it back to him, but he's not listening.
Yeah.
He's trying to mix meals. He once tried to order the burrito fajitas or something. He was like trying to mix it all around. And he was like, no, but do you want this? And he's like, no, idiot, no. Take the onions out of this as well. I don't want that. And then I want this with this. And he got to the point where the waiter was just like, I'm sorry, and he walked off and someone else came.
And then he told another story about how he went to McDonald's and he didn't understand the menus are vertical columns, so he just read straight across. He goes, I want a Big Mac Chicken Legend Sundae.
What did you think that was?
I don't know.
In his mind, he's like, that sounds good.
We went out to this restaurant in Mandalay Bay. So we're ordering food there. Dan is trying to order his food. He's like, I want scallops, the appetizer, and we want a steak. There was no scallop appetizer. There was another dinner. And she's like, so do you want scallops or thing? He ends up ordering 2 dinners. 2 dinners.
Everyone gets like a tiny little petite appetizer. Like, oh, yeah. He gets a big plate of it. He's big. To be fair to the waitress, she was very cool and patient with him. He was like, yeah, all right, yeah, went off. And then Dan went to piss. The waitress came back. And you were like, so he ordered 2 meals, right? And she was like, yeah, I don't know what the hell it is.
Oh, my God. She probably thought you guys were like hobbits. It's like you get a second dinner.
I want to know something.
Go ahead.
Why did you go quiet when I was talking about wet dreams?
Because I told you a story one time where I actually had a wet dream on a plane.
What?
Yeah.
Did you know this? Is that why you asked him?
He brought it up. But I'll own it. I don't give a shit. So
there's no worse place you could have
yeah.
a wet dream.
Barbara, and I was like,
on a plane.
In my 30s. I was in my 30s. I didn't realize I had been on a trip. I'd been, away from home for like 2 weeks, and I just hadn't thought about it. And I was just, oops.
Apparently you were thinking about something.
Yeah, I got upgraded to business class, which was really nice and exciting. So.
You had a wet dream in business class.
Yeah.
Well, at least they help you clean up in business class.
Business.
You had a wet dream,
Yeah.
sat next to a bunch of people.
Jeff.
Sat next to Jeff.
He's dreamy. Anybody, you'd be in my shoes. He'd do the same thing.
He has very blue eyes.
So did you get what I get? Did you get the slow seep, or was it immediate disruption?
No, I was like, I have a problem.
Did you call the flight attendant?
Yeah, and it's like, for whatever reason, I was lucky I had a change of garments available in my carry-on.
No, but what did you do? Did you just go into the bathroom and change?
What did I do? You want me to draw a picture
No,
of what I Barbara, I have a book I'd like to read with you. I just went to the restroom and fixed everything.
Was there any obvious...
What's that?
Was there any obvious evidence?
I'm sure there was.
Yeah,
he said he had a change of clothes.
The plane is pregnant now.
No. I mean,
he's got a baby Cessna at home.
You could be uncomfortable in your own clothes, but it doesn't show.
I'm very proud. It's a single prop, but
He'll be moving up to twins soon.
God damn it.
When I flew to
weird.
That's really funny.
I will say that they do have an interesting mechanic in that game that does kind of make you want to put your headset on, which is whenever you rob a store, you have to yell into your headset to make the guy go faster. I haven't actually tried it yet. I don't know how helpful yelling is.
It's been so long since I've used my headset that I don't know where it is.
I don't either.
Also, I don't want to do that, though.
You don't?
You don't just yell?
No, I don't want to be sitting there being like, hey, put the money faster.
You could say anything, though, I think. If you just yell, you'd be like, I really like your hair today. And they'll be like, but oh, God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but it's like, even if I'm sitting there yelling, my dogs are going to freak out. They're like, what's he yelling for?
Did you tell that story recently?
I told it. It's a story I told forever ago, like on my own YouTube channel, like 4 years ago.
Wait, what story are you talking about?
It was a work story. I was at Wendy's. Why? What are you talking about?
The thing that happened really recently with a dude who lives right next to you.
Oh, no, I didn't even go into that. I wasn't going to tell that because I don't want to get murdered.
Yeah.
Who's gonna murder
don't
you?
mess with
The guy's going to murder me who lives right next to me, okay?
Yeah, don't deal with crazy neighbors.
Does he know
man.
who you are? Does he know about the podcast?
I have no idea what he knows. This man does not know.
You should tell the story. It's mental.
It was fucking weird.
We have to hear it.
All right. Well, to be fair, I didn't try kicking the door down or anything. But,
With the
okay.
back end of a shotgun.
So, Gavin was actually coming over this night. This is like a week or two ago or something. And he's on his way over. Gavin's supposed to be coming over to play. I hear a knock at the door. I'm like, that's Gavin. He should be here. So I see some dude standing there that I don't know, right? And I'm like, all right. So I open the door. And he's like, oh, hey, I live in this apartment, like, down the hall or whatever. I'm like, okay. And he's, like, freaking out. He's, like, shaking his hands and shit. He's like, oh, there's somebody in my apartment. There's, like, guys in my apartment. And I'm like, what? Wait, what the hell's going on? And he's like, oh, can you call the police? There's people in my apartment, and they have gasoline. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what the fuck this guy is. Whatever. Hang on. So I go inside. I get my phone. I come out. And I'm like, I'm not going to do shit, but you can call him if you want to. Here you go. Because he's like, I don't want to go back into my apartment. It's not safe. So I'm like, hey, sure, here's my phone. I unlock it, I give him the phone. He calls 911, right? And he's like, oh, police, I need the police. He either ask for police or fire first. And I'm just standing there, and Lindsay's like behind me, and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, stay inside the house, because this guy's like kind of weird. And so he gets the operator, and he's talking to him, and he's like, normal enough, where like the guy's shaking a little bit, but it just seems like shaken up. But he's, talking normal enough, like, oh, yeah, this and that, there's these guys in my apartment. And I didn't hear the exact conversation from the operator, but, it's along the lines of, like, oh, yeah, what are they doing? And he was like, well, there's like 5 or 6 of them, and they're destroying my couch, and I'm pretty sure they're trying to build a spaceship. And I'm like, oh, fuck. God,
shit.
oh, fuck me. And I'm standing there, and I'm just like, oh shit. Just like,
That's
all
a
right,
fucking red flag.
I'm now in a, and then my first thing was like, all right, he's wearing short shorts, and he doesn't have like a knife or a gun, so I'm not gonna get murdered. Like, he didn't have any weapon on him. Literally, that was my first thought. And then
sized him up.
He's talking to the operator, and they're like, da-da-da, and he was like, they were like, describe him, whatever. And he's like, oh, well, there's a couple guys, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and one of them, he's got no body. And she's, and he's like, no, he's got a head, he has no body. And then I'm like standing there, and he goes, yeah, I thought it was pretty weird too. And I'm like, oh, fuck me, dude. So we live like right near the police station and the fire department. So within like a minute or two, like the guy, the guy's still on the phone or whatever. And within a minute or two, the fire truck, I see the light show up, and I'm like, thank fucking Christ.
Michael's over there going,
yeah,
chloroform.
Yeah. I would have used it, man. So he goes down, he's talking to like the fireman, and like he goes up the stairs, and I get my phone back, and like 4 of them go with him, and I grab like the one guy, and I'm like, so this guy's fucking crazy. He was talking about people not having bodies, and the guy's like, yeah, we heard that over the radio. And so, like, it's just like 5 or 6 firemen now standing in the corridor of my apartment complex. And this guy's standing outside. And he's like, oh, we're all there with gasoline and everything. And, and this is when Gavin shows up. And he's like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, get inside now. I just like, shut the door. And then eventually the fireman left. And then there was like a bunch of cops there. And I'm just like, all right, bye. And then we left. Because I think we went to dinner first or something. And we left. And it was like all said and done by the time we got back. But I'm like, great, so I'm going to get murdered in the next, like, week or two.
And I was thinking about when I lived in England, how far I would have to search to find someone as crazy as that. Michael is just, like, across the corridor.
And down the hall.
And down the hall.
Listen,
so, Guy, if you're listening, though, listen. Hey, remember, I did open the door for you. Don't murder me. He also said, too, he's like, I knocked on, like, 5 doors, and you were the only one that answered.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever tell him, though, that you have plans for a spaceship?
I did not.
If he wants them, he should come to you.
No, you have a spaceship defense gun blueprint
like,
that you'll sell him.
I was like, this guy's fucking crazy. It's like, all right, play it cool. And he's like talking to me, and I'm just like, dude, you know what I mean? It's like fucking no bodies, right? It's just like say nothing to
I knew
alarm.
A bunch of dudes in Jersey with no bodies.
Oh man, don't even get me started.
Those guys with no bodies, they suck.
Fucking stupid jabronis.
The fucking build a spaceship with no bodies.
Yeah, it's a cool word. Yeah, so woo.
I hate the fact that you have to do that sometimes. You have to just side with the lunatic very temporarily.
Absolutely. It was
when
like
really
2
all you want to do is like
stay alive. Yeah.
all you wanted to do was grab your phone and slam the door. I can imagine.
Yeah, I just wanted to leave, but
You got to think about it. Well, never mind. I mean, it's like you got carte blanche at that point. The guy is in your house, and he is.
Well, he wasn't in my house. I never let him in.
Oh,
I went. I went out in the hallway. No, get the fuck out of here.
Best Twitter response
no.
from friggin' MacGyver. The guy's totally crazy. No way you can power a spaceship with gasoline.
No body. How you gonna run it? most fights I've ever seen are like they're just one punch. I've been knocked out. I've knocked somebody out. And I've been knocked out.
Dude,
and neither one was.
I was in a fight that was not one punch, and it was the worst fight ever. Where my buddy got super drunk and he's super big, and he was starting to mess around with a guy who was super big, and he had some friends and whatever. And everyone's drunk, and I'm in a parking lot, and everyone's doing the standoff thing.
Oh, how many people were there?
10.
Yeah, that's rough. A big group fight like that is a really different dynamic.
There was 10 people there, and they're doing the tension thing just before the fight thing, and I'm standing there drunk off my ass with a bottle of Corona in my hand.
I noticed your grip on it.
And I'm like, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to be the guy to break this. I'm going to break this. So drunk, dumb, stupid, dumb, idiot, young Joel was like, I'm simply going to take this Corona bottle, and I'm going to hit that guy over the head with it.
Wow.
That was my plan. So I go and I reach back for the Corona bottle. The Corona bottle had condensation on the outside of the bottle. And so I go, and it goes whoop, out of my hand. It goes whoop, clink, 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 all the way down the parking lot. Clink, 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 hits a light post, clink. And literally everything stopped. Everyone turned and watched the bottle just go clink, 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 clink. And then there was a beat, and it was just fists.
Yeah.
Then it was just like,
and then it was a beat on you.
I got utterly destroyed. I mean, it was just like 10 guys jumped on me. It was bad.
It's like, look, it's a bottle thrower.
It was bad. Yeah, I was the guy who was like, clearly I was the one who had started at that point. And don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Not a good thing. Yeah.
Obvious advice from Joel Heyman.
It does not end well.
Have you ever had someone at the Alamo eat your food?
What?
I know where this is going.
I ordered a pizza. I went to see Star Trek movie.
It's not a stranger, though.
Okay, it was Ray. Also ate my pizza. Good movie, by the way. So I ordered a vegetarian pizza. I didn't feel like having meat that day for some reason. She comes around my side and gives a pizza. Ray's just like, mine. And then just starts eating the pizza. So I was like, I guess that was Ray's. Because Ray ordered pepperoni. She comes back to Ray's side, like, pepperoni? And Ray's just like, I don't know. And apparently he figured out immediately that it wasn't his pizza, but just didn't say anything about it. And she kept coming back.
And she brought back the ticket, and she's like, you ordered pepperoni.
She was like, you wrote pepperoni. He's like, no, I didn't. But it's basically just a common misunderstanding, but handled by a lunatic.
Why did he do that?
I don't know. It's such a weird decision.
Did he say he forgot what pizza he ordered or something like
bollocks.
that?
If someone were to show you your own handwriting and be like, this is what you wrote, you would say, oh yeah.
A good movie.
And eventually she just straight up busted him for it. He's like, you didn't order this. You didn't order this. And he was just like, and then he let it over to me. He's like, it was delicious.
Get in there.
Oh shit.
Get on the mic, Ray.
I texted him and asked him to come over.
It's over there. You're gonna explain yourself, Ray.
Nice shirt.
Do you know why we've called you over here?
Yeah, and I ran here immediately.
What's the story with the pizza?
I ate Gavin's pizza essentially. There was a mix-up, and by mix-up, I just took his food. So we were watching a movie. Went to Alamo. So the food runner comes out, and it's a pizza, and I'm like, I ordered a pizza. So he puts it in front of Gavin, and I'm like, mine. And I ordered a pepperoni pizza. So I took a bite. Wasn't pepperoni at all. But I thought it was like pepper or something, so I thought I fucked up writing it. So I'm like, whatever. A slice in, I'm like, oh, this is like tomato or something. But it was good, so I'm like, I don't give a shit. So I kept eating it. So another 20 minutes, half an hour goes by. They come back with the pepperoni pizza. I'm like, oh. And she puts it, it's a different person this time, I believe, puts it in front of Gavin. He's like, no, it's not my pizza. I'm like, oh, it's not his pizza. Then another person comes back, goes to Gavin. It's like, is that your pizza? He's like, no. They look at me. I'm like, well, my pizza. They come back again with the order, like the actual written order, and they put it up to me, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't write that. I'm sitting next to Michael. I look at him. I'm like, did you write that? I didn't write that. The lady's like furious at this point.
Yeah, why are you lying?
What? Because I'm committed. You don't got me.
Wait, I admire your spirit. I like that.
Yeah, you just keep going.
At what point did you decide to be a maniac about it and not be like,
when they came back with the pepperoni, I'm like, I've gone too far. I got to keep this going as long as possible, though.
There you go.
That's nothing like a pepperoni pizza.
At that point, Gus, if you put food in front of me, I'm going to eat it. If it's good, I'm going to keep eating it.
Actually got resolved finally when she came over to me, pointed at my pizza that was being eaten by Ray.
That I'm still eating, by the way.
She was like, are you waiting for that pizza? And I said, yes. And then she just goes, he's eating your pizza. I'll go get you another one. And then storms off.
She was so mad. But you mean
Did you wait? So the question: did you give her a tip?
$1? I gave her $1 for fucking up. Whose fault is that?
It would have been.
It's your fault. It's your fault.
At least there's no tip there, right?
Gus, his pizza didn't have pepperoni on it.
Yeah.
I should tip out.
The food runner should have been like, no, that's not yours. Pay more attention. And Gavin, complaining up a storm, should just pick the pepperoni off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, you sit in somebody else's
I'm the good guy here.
They'll let you know if you sit in somebody else's seat.
I'm not the bad guy. Let me rephrase that. I'm definitely not the good guy.
But do you know how hard it is to concentrate on a really good movie when you're
Yeah,
hungry?
they're running back and forth. I'm like, I'm
Watching
the movie. You're asking me all these questions. I'm like trying to enjoy the film.
You were inconvenienced.
I'm not
You know what I love
inconvenienced
about
at all.
you is Gavin
You were
was waiting.
inconvenienced more than I was.
Gavin is waiting an hour and a half for a pizza. You're just aware of that less than 4 inches away.
Absolutely.
You don't even offer him a piece of his pizza.
No, I went up to him. I'm like, oh, this pizza's so good. Sorry, Gavin.
You know,
What are you going to do?
water under the bridge.
Yeah.
All right, Ray, thanks for joining us. And
Thank
telling
you
us the
for
story.
having me, letting me
And look,
defend
even
myself.
wore he had a podcast shirt on today.
Yeah.
King Gus.
Animated Adventure
King
shirt.
Gus.
Nice haircut.
Animated
Thanks, man.
Adventures
Dude, it
shirt.
grew back.
Yeah, nice.
Nice face. Nice pizza.
Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, Ray. All right, we're about that time. We got to wrap
Get him
up
back
here.
in his office. I think the company loses like $50 a minute that he's out of his desk.
Yeah, go back to work. Spout out some more catchphrases.
Where it's just a bar. We were just sitting there drinking and chatting. I didn't have anything to do with this event, but just sit there. So I got to that point where I was like, right at the edge of drunk, right there at the edge. And I was like, oh, I got a full drink in my hand, and I just slammed it.
There you go.
That was it.
That's
that
what
was,
happens.
God, and you just reach that tipping point where it's just like, what do you do, man?
But that's the best drink of that night. Any night, the first drink is kind of because you're sober and you're drinking booze. It's like, I don't really like the taste of this. But
Case in point, this
yeah.
podcast.
Right.
Right.
But that one where you're feeling the drunkenness and you know that the next drink is going to throw you into drunk, that's the best one. That is drink prime.
After that event, then I went to go meet the Rooster Teeth group at dinner. And the way Barb described it was, because everyone had to reconstruct these events for me, is I walked in to the middle of the restaurant, walked up to our table, and went to them, and I walked up and I go, "You're all drunk!" And then Barbara goes, "Uh-oh." Nice. Then I spent, I don't know, I was sitting next to Monty. I remember at one point, they refused to give me dinner or something.
Who did?
The waiter.
Oh, really?
Oh, Barbara wrote, and I kind of remember doing this, is that I stood up at dinner where everyone's there, they've been working so fucking hard. And so I stood up, owner of the company, I stood up, I held my glass up to everyone at the table. Everybody like stops and looks at me, and I go, "I am Catbug." I slammed my drink and sat down. Barbara said she laughed for about 20 minutes after that. I mean, I really had to have a lot of people help me reconstruct this the next day. So I'm doing that thing where I'm like standing like this, like teetering, like that.
Just weeble wobbling, not falling over.
So we get to the party, and Ashley says, she goes, "Stay here." She goes, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom." She goes, "I'm gonna be gone 2 minutes. Don't do anything. Don't talk to anybody. Just stand right here. I'll be right back." I'll go to the bathroom with you. She goes, no. She goes, "Just stay here. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I have to go to the bathroom." So I said, okay. She said she went to the bathroom. She came back from the bathroom. 2 minutes had passed. That was it. And she said I had bags. I had bags of popcorn, like that I had just had collected bags of popcorn, and that I was going up to people while they were having conversations at their tables, and I would give them a bag of popcorn. I'd go, "Hey, here, take this popcorn. You're too drunk. You have to go now. You have to leave." You have to leave. And people were leaving. Oh my God! I was kicking people out of the Bethesda party.
You're really pushing the limits of what you can get away with.
Jesus.
I had a dude come up to me at our booth the next day, and he goes, "Bernie, I just want to apologize." He goes, "I had a little bit too much to drink at the party, and you kicked me out." He goes, You gave me a bag of kettle corn."
Poor dude, he probably having the time of his life at his back fighting.
Hey, get out of here.
Just
Take this corn and get out of here,
You're
buddy.
too drunk. You need to go home. and it was really late in the evening, so people were like, "I am kind of drunk."
That's like the most ironic superhero ever.
I've seen you when you're drunk though, and you are not a good hider. But you're like, you know that thing where you're like,
Oh my God.
you gotta leave. Get out.
You're making me sick. I'm gonna throw up looking at you. Take your drinks and leave.
Get out. Everybody out. In my defense, Ashley caught me really quickly in the process. I had a lot of popcorn.
And
You
shut
only
down.
threw out a few people.
if he's listening, it was one of the guys I threw out happened to be a fan. And so he came the next day to the booth and was like, I'm really sorry. I had a little bit too much to drink. And you were like, get out.
I hope you don't think any less of me.
You're a piece of shit.
Are you proud of this? No, that's awesome.
It was pretty funny, though.
That was awesome.
It was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
Anybody who fell for that was drunk, too. I was so... Was it Monty? Was there a moment when it was not clear that I was drunk?
No, the moment you walked in, it was very, very apparent.
And also, the waiter didn't serve me for 20 minutes.
He gave you were like, he was like, I'll bring you a plate, or your plate is coming, and you're like, it's gonna have food on it, right?
I'm a really nice person, I promise. I promise I am. Oh my God! And I don't think they realized people were gonna be able to see directly down into what they were doing in there because they had little
Were they doing naughty shit?
No.
You don't know that.
I would have kicked them out if they were.
Yeah, what was it?
I just got a tweet from Ashley. I see Bernie forgot to include in his drunk story the part where he pretended an empty chair was Gavin Free and made out with it.
I don't have made out.
That's not a real story, is it?
Come on.
What were you doing?
Bonnie, do you remember this at all?
I do not remember
You have
this.
to
There was one point where there was an empty chair next to me, and I said, I wish Gavin was here, and then I pretended you were there in the chair next to me.
Yeah?
Things got a little hot.
Yeah?
You have to fucking
Feel like I
sign a
missed
piece
out.
of paper now.
You have to understand, though, the way
that
that breaks down is just me making out with empty air.
Yeah.
While I'm drunk.
How is there no video of this?
Oh, thank God, because I have real friends.
I hope that a little
Bear's
bag
drunk
of popcorn becomes the universal symbol of get the hell out.
Apparently, it was kettle corn.
Oh,
the guy even said, he goes, you were nice about it. You gave me the kettle corn.
At least you're nice about it. Hey, it's just drunk. You got it out of here.
Just
Here's
to ease
party
the blow.
I really wish that guy would message me.
That's like a goodie
What?
bag.
Barbara's chimed in. Barbara's chimed in. He even made kissy noises.
Wow, we're learning a lot here.
Apparently, at one point, the menu had velvet on it too, and I was had it on my face, and I was rubbing it, talking about how soft it was, and then I was holding it in such a way that I rubbed it, and then I stopped, and I think I fell asleep for a few seconds. I'm holding my own head up with a pillow. But yeah, that restaurant, we're not welcome back.
Jersey Mike's has amazing subs.
Matt went there for lunch today, and he got this thing. It was like a sandwich with no bread, and it comes in this Tupperware container.
Okay.
I go, that looks pretty good. I go, Jersey Mike's got that there, and he goes, yeah. He goes, I don't like it though. He goes, two things I like about it. I go, what is it? First, he goes, first I don't like the name. It's called a sub in a tub. And I go, yeah, that's pretty weird. I go, what's the other thing you don't like about it? I thought he was gonna say it's too much lettuce or something like that because I was looking at it. He goes, they just give it to you. I go, what does that mean? They just give it to you. He goes, well, it's not like fanfare. Wait, what? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, they just make it. They're like, here you go.
Matt Holland, please come down. What is this?
We have a sub in a tub.
From the four corners of the earth, sub in a tub.
I have no idea what he meant by that, but I was
How do we have
really
a picture of a
upset
sub
by
in a tub that fast?
Somebody had that ready to go.
And
That's Matt's sandwich from today.
All of me was legitimately upset that there's no fanfare associated with it. I mean, look at that. Look at that presentation of that thing.
I mean,
it's just here you go. Fuck you.
When do you ever have fanfare?
I don't know. When you get a sandwich at Jersey Mike's, they go,
Sir, a cheesesteak. Excellent choice. Let me get that for you
serve
right
it in
now.
jazz hands.
Yeah, they give it to you in hand and then back away like this.
Here's your fucking sub in a tub.
So was he serious about this?
he was dead serious.
just
He was
give it to
upset
you.
about his lunch because of the lack of fanfare from the sub in a tub.
I mean, gotta eat lunch, but like a little fanfare with my lunch.
I don't think he's gonna go back to that place unless he sees a under new management side now with fanfare, with pizzazz.
If he sees him now hiring, you know what? I'm gonna go in there and make a difference.
Show them how to do it right. Sub in a tub.
All right, it's time to wrap up. We gotta go.
I gotta beat him into the restaurant next time he goes there. Go to that place and just go. Look, when the next guy comes in, I'll tip you $5. Make a big fucking deal. Call your friends.
Sing a song.
Dude, hey, Pete, this guy's got a sub in a tub. Come here. Get the fireworks.
There's another
One second.
No, come here.
There's another employee standing behind that guy going, it's happening. It's happening.
Break the glass.
Get the thing.
Call corporate.
Get the red phone. Get it. It's happening soon.
gonna fucking fire me tomorrow. Oh my god.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back on Wednesday with another episode of The Patch, and next Monday with another episode of RT Podcast.
Thanks.
Hey,
Farewell,
bye.
sub in a tub.
Bye, everyone.
When I first moved into my house, I had a problem where there was a squirrel where every time it saw me, it would throw stuff at me.
Really?
Yeah, it's like if I would walk outside and the squirrel was in a tree, he would find like branches or like nuts or whatever to throw at me, and he would hit me.
How does a squirrel have an arm
Squirrels
to
are so
throw
skittish.
things at
Because
you?
he's high, you know? He's just throwing down, essentially.
Oh, I thought you meant he was like sitting on your grass, like.
No, he's like up in the trees, like throwing shit at me. Then he tried to piss on me once.
What did you do to him?
I don't know. I never thought about this, but this squirrel, like, I was like standing in my lawn, and all of a sudden, like, liquid started falling next to me, and I was like, what's that? And I look down, and I look up, and there's a squirrel, like, squatting on a branch, like, pissing down, like, straight right next to me. I'm like, it's the fucking squirrel.
You're getting bullied.
Yeah. It must be dead now, because it doesn't, I haven't seen it like a year.
I guess it'd be similar to if a woman was coming at you.
Or a little kid, I would say.
Because you can't do anything. You're not allowed to smack an animal. It's actually...
Yeah, you are.
You can smack an animal.
Smack an animal.
Squirrel.
You can't just punch a squirrel.
I would punch the shit out of a squirrel.
Really?
I've got a bone to pick again.
Oh, shit.
With the fucking squirrels at my house.
They're chucking shit.
Man, they're
That's
getting
assholes.
So, I have like this community garden plot kind of close to my house that I go to, and I grow like fruits and vegetables and shit. And it's under a pecan tree, so every now and then, like a pecan will fall into the soil, and like a little pecan tree will start sprouting. So the other day, I was like, all right, I'm gonna take this pecan tree, I'm gonna plant it at my house. In 20 years, there's gonna be a pecan tree here. So it's like, I planted it, I started watering it, I was taking good care of it. I was like, yeah, it's taking, it's all green, it's gonna be awesome. Like a week after I planted it, I walked out, and there was a fucking squirrel. He had ripped it out of the ground. He had bit off the stem, bit off the root, and just ate the nut that was like the seed. I was like, you fucking asshole. Like I walked out in the morning to come to work, and like he stopped with it in his mouth and like turned to look at me. And I looked at him, I was like, what the fuck? And he just like took off running. I was like, God damn.
Did you give chase?
Yeah, I chased him. Then he like ran up the tree immediately.
I didn't think you would actually
I was so fucking ready.
I didn't think you would actually chase the squirrel.
I was so fucking angry.
Like, you did this, like,
He crawled up the tree, and I'm like,
Were you in like a bathrobe at the same time?
straight to the moon. No, I was on my way to work, so I had my backpack. So I'm sure I was like running like a fat kid down the street.
and then you were out of breath. I was worried recently that I might be too relaxed. Like, am I teaching my body to become so relaxed that when one stressful situation does happen, I might die from it? Is it possible to be too chilled out?
I don't think so.
All right.
Although I will admit, there was a moment today when there was a scare, and Gavin seemed remarkably un-British in that moment, and it made me think like you were faking it this whole time.
What?
And then when the balloon popped, and you said in a completely non-British accent, the balloon popped, and Gavin goes, he was talking, he's like, right, what are you on about? This and that, the other thing. And then balloon pops, he goes, fuck a duck! I didn't even know that was a British expression. And it just came out so naturally, and with no accent whatsoever.
And Kara started screaming.
She really another classic Kara scream, which we heard in the
not caring,
one.
being relaxed and not caring is different to being startled. Now, if an explosion went off, I wouldn't be like, come at me, debris. I'd be under the couch.
Wouldn't that be great, though, if we found out that Gavin's not British?
I want
it's
you
just a
to,
complete joke he's put on for the last 10 years.
That was something I wrote for my bio on the shorts. I said I was secretly from Nebraska.
I kind of see what you mean when you bring up this subject, but you feel so strongly about it. And it's just like, I don't know why. Just calm down. I'm not. Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about it. So he thought I'd be excited about it. You are talking about it right now. He's trying to get me all excited about it. I'm saying, good, you're on cloud saves. Good for you. Yeah.
I didn't do shit.
You brought it up and you said cloud save thing, and you drew me into it.
I drew you in by saying I'm playing GTA 5?
Yeah, and you said, oh, my cloud saves. Aren't you so proud of me? That's what you said.
How does that have to do with physical media?
Motherfucker, this is being recorded.
What does that have to do with physical media?
Fight. Kiss. This one day it's going to work.
It's nothing. It's irrelevant. It's two different conversations. When you said you drew me into this.
You did draw me into it. When did I mention
What does cloud saves have to do with physical media?
You looked
nothing.
At me. Look.
Do you need an ice pack for that burn? Are you okay over there?
Hey, motherfucker! Do you honestly still think sitting here that I brought up the subject cloud saves?
We're not talking. You got mad about physical media. You change the subject. This is what you do. When you lose an argument, you pivot and change the subject.
What's that?
No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
Jesus Christ.
You guys baited me into a conversation about digital media, and then he goes, yeah, but you get so excited when you talk about it. You talk about it all the time. That's exactly what happened. So let me get this straight. The game baited you into kicking a dog to death, but you guys bringing up motherfucking cloud saves is not a bait for me? You guys are dickheads. You guys are unbelievable dickheads.
As soon as you used the word bait to describe that, I was like, he's going to bring this back to himself.
I am. I'm going to walk out of the theater and kick a dog to death on Congress.
It was probably the most eventful night of my life. I was at a party with a bunch of my friends. I will call him Don. That's the name.
Shout out to Don.
Shout out to Don. So
his real name's not Dan or anything, is it? Like, you didn't just change one.
Donald. Sorry,
we'll
Donald.
call him Dunn.
I'm out in the backyard talking with a few of my friends. I'm going back inside, and that's when this girl comes out. She says, guys, the police are here. And I froze because I'd never been to a party that had been busted by the cops before. And in my mind was
just say you've never been to a party.
Shut up. I imagine every like teen movie that I had ever seen ever, where it's like the fucking guys come in with German shepherds and shit, like everybody's going to prison, everybody's getting arrested, and like kids are running and jumping out of windows.
Why do they sound like that?
I don't know. Teen movies are terrible. So my first thought was like, I stopped dead, I turned around, I was like, Don, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And my buddy's like, who's also drunk, is like, that sounds like a great idea, Miles. What are we gonna do? I'm like, guys, over the fence, let's go. Me and Don were the only people to go. All my other sober friends were like, bye. We jump over.
Crazy
These two other freshmen that had gone to the party, who just like were completely panicked and just didn't know what to do, were like, these guys seem to know their shit. So they followed us. So we jump into the neighbor's backyard. We can see all like the blue and red lights on the other side of the fence. He's a really tall dude. So he goes over to the fence and he puts his hands up and he pulls himself just right over the edge, and then the whole thing snaps and the fence falls forward and all these lights are just on us. I just go, run! So we just start sprinting, and fortunately the neighbor's backyard was connected to like all these woods and shit. So we're just sprinting through the woods. When I get drunk and there's like a air quotes serious situation, I become like alpha male, like I got this.
You're like in control Miles.
Yeah, I become in control Miles. Like I'm in the zone, the really drunken, intoxicated zone. It's like, all right, guys, everything's gonna be fine. Let's silence our cell phones. And like the freshmen were like, that's genius. This guy knows what he's doing. Older kids, yeah. Silence their cell phones. I'm like, all right.
How old were you? Like 6 months older than these kids?
Yeah, I was like 6 months older than
Because the cops are gonna hear your cell phone.
Shut the fuck up. This was a real life situation, okay? Lives were on the line.
They're just
so I was like,
sneaking through the
everybody,
forest listening for rings.
silence your cell phones. I was helping the kid down like into the ravine.
The kid.
The guy just as
Buzz
Buzz Lightyear. And he goes, hey man, I just wanted to say thanks, man. I can't, like I have scholarships, I can't get arrested, man. And I shit you not, I go, what's your name, dude? And he goes, Johnny. I go, Johnny, I'm gonna get you out of here. And I put my hand on his shoulder, I patted him on the back. And this kid was probably like, thanks, dude. But in my mind, I was like, it's gonna be okay. And like triumphant horns were playing and shit. And we got all out of there. We made it to some like playground in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere and parted ways. And we're really concerned. We're like, I feel really bad about this. We should call him. We should really call him. He's like, yeah, dude, yeah. So we start calling our friends. We're like, hey, man, are you okay? Are you all right? And my friend's like, what? Is everything okay? I know the cops come. Hold on 1 second. I'm at the party. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it was just a noise complaint. It's totally fine. And it was like,
you broke someone's fence.
I broke someone's fence. Moral of the story, don't call the police on a really loud party.
They might not even have been the one.
Yeah, otherwise your neighbor's gonna get, they're gonna have broken fences and stuff. That was the end of a very long and interesting night. But that was, yeah.
That's only like the ice.
That was the icing on the cake. But yeah, everything else I'd have to be way more drunk to talk about.
Oh, God.
Have another beer,
Did you make out with Buzz Lightyear?
Oh, God.
You mean Don?
God damn it. I needed.
If only Don was here with his briny paper towel to help you clean up.
Oh my God, the beer burns my nose. God damn it.
I think he was in love with me.
Yeah, that guy would not stop like looking at you and talking to you.
At one point, Gus was like, Barbara and that guy sitting in the street.
Barbara and that guy?
See, I never get attention like that. unless it's from dudes. Do you ever get that? Do you ever get attention from guys?
What do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
but I like
people, guys that are attracted to you. So the camera is looking at him, and I'm attached to the camera with a cable, looking at what the camera sees, but I'm off to the side. But in between all the takes, he was always looking to the side on the screen. I was like, what is he looking? Oh, he's looking at me. So he didn't know I could see what the camera was seeing, because I guess he didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. And I could just see him whenever we were between takes. He was just staring at me. And then at lunch, the director came over and said that this TV chef, he's got a real thing for you. He's a big fan.
A big fan?
And apparently this chef, he's probably like 50. He goes up to the director and goes, "Who's that young man? He's beautiful." And I was like, wow. And then it all made sense, because in between takes as well, he would like cook me up these little nibbles and stuff. He'd be like, "What do you think of this one?" I'd be like, "Well, it's great." And I was just waffling down. And I didn't realize it was flirting until it was too late.
Until it was too late?
Yeah, like it was already
like you couldn't do anything about it? You're like gone home, you're like, oh shit,
yeah, so
I could have
I lost my chance.
So he was already in love with me at this point, and I could see that he was staring at me, so it was pretty obvious at that point. But he's kind of nervous in front of the camera. So every time, this is after I left, because I was only there 2 days.
Was he a good kisser?
He was doing all these recipes, but apparently they couldn't get him to look up at the camera enough, because he would always talk and like look down and like, we need you to look into the lens.
You should have been standing by the camera. He would have looked up all the time.
So the producer went online and went onto my Facebook and printed out my profile picture and taped it to the matte box on the top of the camera to get him to look to the thing, which I thought was a pretty funny story.
That's pretty ridiculous, dude. You were used. Did you get extra salary for that?
No. And about 6 or 7 months later, this was probably Christmas time, someone got my mum his cookbook, which had just come out. I was like, that's pretty weird.
You're like, that's the dude I banged on set.
And in the front page of the book, he's got all his thanks and stuff. So it's like, thanks to the lighting guy, Billy. And these are all people who have been on set with him for 3 months. It's like an experience for them. And he lists all these names, and at the end it just says, and Gavin.
And Gavin.
I got a
My rock. Did he butter your muffin?
He buttered all of my muffins.
So do you find that a lot of
Thanks, Lindsay.
Gay guys are attracted to you?
I know somebody's really incredibly good luck.
Yeah?
You?
Why?
You have incredibly good luck.
What are you on about?
What are you on about? Look at your life, you asshole.
You wanted to get a work visa.
But you are one of the most fortunate people I know.
All you have to do is fuck one TV chef, and look where you are.
Will that be a lesson to you?
What the fuck are you looking up? Acknowledgements?
I don't know, I'm trying to see.
Oh, did someone send the acknowledgements picture already?
That's so funny. So Gavin has up on the screen the acknowledgments from this guy's cookbook.
That's
it's
amazing.
A ton of names.
How do they find that so
fast? The internet, man.
It's a ton of names and all the stuff they did for him, like in great detail. And at the end it just says, and Gavin.
It's literally the last thing on the page. I have a question about starving to death.
Go ahead. Okay.
Right? When you starve to death.
Go on.
Say I went without food, I was through the desert, crawling along. Eventually I starved to death.
Right.
Say, 30 seconds before I starved to death, a dude held a sandwich. He was like, I wouldn't just die, would I? I'd be like, there's a sandwich, I'm going for it. And I'd live longer to get to the sandwich.
You know, I think you could potentially be so far gone that even if you eat, you still die.
Because your stomach shrinks. Your stomach, when people go a really long time without eating, their stomach shrinks up. And then whenever they eat, their stomach can't handle food.
You can have a nibble.
Yeah, you can't eat too much at once.
I'm going to stave off death with a nibble.
But you could keep going, wouldn't you? And you would...
Yeah, you just nibble it.
I think you could have hope and survive.
You can survive on hope.
I think when you starve, I'm thinking when you starve to death,
what if let me give you a hypothetical situation.
Yeah, but I want to send you to Ethiopia and just tell everyone to hope.
Just do that. Yeah, but you can't
here's the thing.
Just keep
30 seconds before death, the guy shows you the sandwich, and you're like, yes. And he's like, just kidding, and throws it away. How much longer do you live? Do you have another 30 seconds? What if he pulls out another sandwich? He's like, oh, just kidding, here you go. And then throws that away. Like, could you live forever like that? Like, would your life go on indefinitely as long as he has sandwiches to show you?
What if you could just smell the sandwich? Because you get nutrition through the smell.
You waft the sandwich at you.
On a fishing rod.
Yeah, you're like, just a little more. I want to live.
Well, no, it would be like a thing. Like, you would learn that he was screwing with you, and then you'd give up.
Well, what if he brought out ice cream then? You're like, oh, shit, that's something new.
Well, he threw the sandwich, but maybe he won't throw the ice cream.
Right.
So people are suggesting, Gavin, that if you're starving to death, just don't do it.
Yeah, just tell yourself not to, right?
Just don't starve.
That's
What it is-
Dr. Free.
You have adrenaline to boost yourself a little bit further.
Okay,
So you can live
you're
on
dying
just-
of starvation. you're like 30 seconds from death, but you're in a plane and someone pushes you out the plane. Does the adrenaline keep you alive? Because according to you, adrenaline keeps you alive.
I think adrenaline would cause you to starve to death faster. No, I'm not
Like,
kidding.
It makes your heart start going. And
So you'd be crawling through the desert. You'd be like, oh, I've got about 30 seconds left. Oh, sandwich. I just kick it immediately.
Why is the whole scenario desert and sandwiches?
I
You can
really
starve
want
to
a
death
sandwich
anywhere.
now. Can we go to sandwich?
You can starve to death in a cave.
You'd run out of water.
You started death here.
You starve to death in a swimming pool. Why does it have to be a desert?
Okay, so you've got.
Do you live in a Warner Brothers cartoon? Is that what you're doing?
So you've got 30 seconds till you die, but you're underwater and you can hold your breath for 45 seconds. Do you die of starvation or drowning?
You die of oxygen starvation at that point.
I love your questions. Did you just come up with that right now, or had you been thinking about that for a while?
I actually thought about that earlier today. I was like, can hope keep you alive for an extra minute?
I do hate hypothetical situations. Whoever said that, but when they're retarded and you can make fun of someone, that's a whole other deal.
Thanks.
No, I think it's a legit. I don't even think that's that hypothetical. He's asking like, what is starvation?
Okay, yeah, that's true.
And can you keep it at bay with hope?
With hope.
The answer is no.
According to some romantic comedy, some romantic movie trailers I've seen, hope can keep you alive. I forgot about it.
Chris talked about running up to people that he doesn't know on the street with children and yelling, "I curse your baby."
What was this in again?
We were walking up to get food. I think it was me and Carrie and Miles.
Okay.
And I saw a pregnant lady and a husband, and they were walking. And I was like, and I don't know. I thought like, what would be an inappropriate thing to say to them? And you'd be like, "I curse your child." And the thing is they would look at you weird. But then if their kid. Their kid was like a shitty kid, they'd always wonder, was it that guy who ran up to me at the parking lot of the restaurant and cursed him? Like they would always wonder if was that it? Right?
Oh my God!
Killed. Someone would kill you.
Someone would punch. Everybody would punch you. We were talking about what are punchable offenses.
That would be punchable. Yeah.
That would totally be a punchable offense.
Yeah.
My dad would tell me we made a nucleus that was like, there was no way a kid made this.
What do you mean you made a nucleus?
We made it like an atom. I think my atom was
What do you mean?
chlorine. It was like we had to make a model of it. You didn't do that in
a
school?
model. Yeah.
No, I made a fucking atom because I'm a god. What the fuck is wrong with
Bernie
you?
Burns' atom smasher grabs some protons and some neutrons and.
I've created life. And so there was no way my teacher thought that I made this fucking thing. There's no way.
I'm looking straight at the camera. I realized one of my eyes is a little bit lazy. Just a little bit, and I've never noticed.
Are you
this
slightly
before.
cross-eyed?
I don't think that's the case.
No, one goes.
No, it's
that,
probably
I think
when
when
you're
you're
focusing.
This will prove whether you're kind of lazy-eyed or cross-eyed. Did Dan try to bang you when he came to Austin?
Well, that's unfair.
like physically or like verbally.
Did he come onto you and
Yes.
he did?
Yeah.
Dan was trying to bang you.
But, like he was coming on to me in a like flirty way.
So
but
then he was trying to bang you.
he tried to bang everything that had a vagina while he was here.
So he did try to bang
What
you.
level was that?
No, but he is really into cross-eyed girls. And he
But-
refuses.
No, I'm not saying.
He refuses to admit it, and whenever I call him out, he gets all like embarrassed about it. But his first girlfriend was the most cross-eyed girl I've ever. And I was like, she's totally cross-eyed, dude. Does it not bother you? But how do you know where she's looking? And she's like, no, she's not. And then like they broke up, and he was looking back through pictures on Facebook, and he was like, she's cross-eyed in every single picture of us we've ever been together. Then he got with some new girl, and I was like, Dan, you must be just taking the piss because she's even more cross-eyed than the last one. And Dan's like, no, she's not. She's totally normal. And then they went and saw a movie in 3D, and she put on the glasses. She's like, 3D just doesn't work for me. I can't figure it out. And then I was like, Dan, she looks in two directions. She's completely cross-eyed again.
Was she so cross-eyed that like 3D fields were reversed, like and made it into a 1D movie for some reason?
Everything's
She's like,
going away
this
from
movie's
me.
just a giant dot. This doesn't make any sense.
But he hates it when you bring it up. But he has had 3 cross-eyed girls
Jesus.
in the last 2 years or so.
And he was hitting on a fourth.
I mean,
so.
maybe he just doesn't look at their eyes.
Is there a fetish site for that on the internet? Cross-eyedsluts.com.
There's bound to be.
There's gotta be.
Yeah, you're a UK YouTuber?
I haven't done it. Like having sex with their fans and like underage
really?
fans and stuff.
UK YouTubers having sex with their fans? How is Dan? How is he?
He's been out of the country for a couple weeks.
This fine St. Patrick's Day.
I had an absolute nightmare today.
Oh no.
I told that story about Dan and the cross-eyed girl, and how she couldn't see in 3D and stuff. And she messaged me today on Facebook and said, "Hey, I just started watching Rooster Teeth. Love these animated adventures." And then like, she totally saw the one.
She knew you were talking about her?
She totally knew I was talking about her.
That we disavow that. We all allegedly. We have no idea what Gavin Free's talking about.
She said,
did you admit it to her, or are you? Okay, you did. So you're not admitting it right now.
She said thanks for the mention, and that I owe her a drink the next time I see her.
Okay, there you go.
So
she seems like a lovely girl.
I will buy you a drink.
Well, I hear you're going to be in the UK this weekend.
Yeah, what are you doing this weekend?
Have her meet you at the airport. You're like, yeah, here's your fucking drink.
I said that on the podcast thinking, Dan probably won't hear this, so there's no way in hell that she will ever see it. I have no idea how she found it.
Fucking animated adventures,
People
man.
find that stuff, dude.
Yeah, it has
People
over
find
1
that
million
stuff.
views. I guess, she just found it.
I got as a compliment to her. I've known Dan for a number of years, and I've seen him with an appropriate amount of women for that amount of time, and I have never seen Dan with an unattractive lady. So he's a very good barometer for attractive ladies. So I think that I think that speaks volumes of her. And I gotta say, never seen him with a cross-eyed girl ever. I don't know where you're getting this from, but maybe it's a problem they have in the UK. But I haven't seen it here. One of my buddies got so drunk and he got in a fight and he was so pissed off. He got a fight over a girl and he was so pissed and he said like the most profound thing ever. He was so mad. He goes, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm done with everything. Somebody take me to the airplane place.
That makes me think of our first trip to E3.
It's one of our only like inside joke references I ever made in an episode of Red vs. Blue. Griff and Simmons are talking about how upset Simmons about going to the Vegas quadrant. We went to E3 one year, and it was the first time that Jeff and Gus met Matt.
I remember. Absolutely first time.
I pointed out, as I do every single time we go to Los Angeles, that, hey, we're in Los Angeles. We're only 5 hours away from Vegas. Gus goes, I'm not going to Vegas.
Because I knew where this was going.
He goes, I'm not going to Vegas. I go, what do you mean you're not going to Vegas? And he gets so fucking infuriated. He's in the back of the van. I'm driving. I'm like, what's going on? Why are you so mad about Vegas? He goes, I'm not going to Vegas. Don't talk about Vegas. And I said,
You're spinning this.
Okay.
You're spinning this. You had been saying, let's go to Vegas for about an hour at this point.
I wanted people to go to Vegas.
It was not just a casual mention. And you were like, let's go to Vegas, let's go to Vegas. And that's when I was like, I'm not going to Vegas.
So we're in the Del Taco parking lot in like downtown LA, like right on Transvestite Alley. I say, guys, look, I'm gonna say one last time, we can just get Del Taco, we drive straight to Vegas from here. We've seen everything we're see at E3. So Gus says, I swear to God, this is at 1 in the morning. If you say Vegas one more time, I'm getting out of this van.
I may or may not have been a little drunk at this point as
well. I'm gonna say may. And I said, fine. I go, okay, fine. I give up. I will not mention Vegas for us tonight. I apologize.
No.
Because I said Vegas.
You said, really? You're that upset? You would leave the van if I said Vegas? And I was like, in my mind, I was like, he's testing me. I was like, I just said I would leave the van, and he just said it. I was like, if I don't leave, he knows I'm a pussy. So I have to leave.
Oh, no. Listen, so I know you're a pussy anyway, whether you're in the van or out of it.
I don't remember. I started punching the back of your seat.
You did. Like a big pussy.
I opened the van door and just walked out.
Into the night.
It was my first time ever in LA. This was a sketchy ass part of LA.
It was pretty seedy.
So I got a cab. I took a cab back to our hotel. I packed all my shit and I was like, I'm flying back to Austin tonight. Fuck this. I'm going home.
No. He left a note on the bed.
Are you serious, guys? See you in Austin, bitch.
That's exactly what you wrote. No way. I wrote, see you in Austin, asshole.
Asshole.
Wait, so did you guys go to Vegas?
No.
We were driving everywhere, and Jeff was
Did
like...
you call his name like a lost dog?
Jeff says I was like slowly squeezing the steering wheel so hard that it was like pinching the steering wheel, and Jeff's in the passenger seat like this, watching me, and he said I got madder and madder. I got in a fight with a guy at a gas station because I stopped to ask directions. It was a nightmare. Such a child. It was like the worst. And Matt was like,
who the fuck is this guy? First time he's ever meeting Gus, that like he throws this tantrum, and like when he went off into the night, he throws open the side door of the van. He throws it open like this, and all you see is Gus silhouetted against the night sky like this. He's punching the air. Yeah, he's so mad. He's like,
okay, wait. So what's your issue with Vegas? Like, what?
No, like I just didn't want to go to Vegas, and I felt like I was being forced to go to Vegas.
He had a bad
So what? What happened?
I didn't want to go.
If you don't go to Vegas, don't go to Vegas.
I took you to Vegas like 3 or 4 years later, and you loved it.
I like Vegas.
Yes.
I just didn't want to go at that time. It was, like you said, it was late at night. I didn't want to spend 5 hours in a van with my contacts in.
You are such a
and get there.
stubborn fuck. You are so fucking stubborn.
I am.
Tell the story about what you did to that woman's basement toilet or whatever.
Oh, well, one time. So we were working at this woman's house for years, and just one of the times I was working there, and I had to take a dump, so I went into her basement, because it's like common courtesy. Like, I'll use your basement bathroom, not your,
So you just take up the main floor?
Just your first floor bathroom.
Yeah.
So I go in the basement, I use the bathroom, I just like destroyed it. But I go to flush it, and it's like totally clogged, and I'm like, fuck. So I flush it again, it's fucking clogged again. And I'm like, I'm looking around, there's no plungers, there's nothing. And I'm just like, well, I'm in a customer's house. It's like, I can't leave a shit clogged toilet. Like it's just filled with shit. Look at Gavin's face. It's just filled with shit. I'm just like, all right, well, I guess I got to unclog this toilet. So I rolled up my sleeve.
Oh, God.
And I just like basically crushed anything in the bowl.
Oh, my God.
Until I could flush it. And then I just washed my hands in the sink.
Did you wash your whole arm?
Yeah, no, I mean, I went to town. But like, I sat there, Gus, and I was like, judgment call, it's got to be done. So, and I basically like punched the toilet.
When you did that, did you keep it as a fist the whole time, or do you have to like extend into like pointing fingers to like reach down the track?
Nah, it wasn't that elaborate. It was like a few quick like and like break it up. It was more like I probably had to scoop once.
Have you ever punched your shit?
And I moved along.
Have you ever punched your shit?
Nope.
I
can't say that I have.
I've never clogged the toilet with just shit on its own. How long between realizing it was clogged to wedging your fist into your own fist?
Here's a better question. How long between wedging your fist into your own shit and eating with your hands?
I don't remember if it was before or after lunch.
I'm just picturing it like breaking up in the water. And
it just doesn't bother me at all.
Stop picturing.
No, it doesn't bother me at all. It's like, I was seriously.
It's excrement.
I'm in a bathroom. There's a sink right there. I've dealt with shit
gonna be under your
worse than
fingernails?
excrement. It wasn't under my fingernails. Gavin just shook his head. He had a slight seizure.
Did you have a microscope where you're like, nope, I'm totally clean?
No, but it's like I cut my fingernails, I wash my hands.
I would probably do a Dead Rising kind of thing where I'd try and craft some weird device that would plunge it for me.
What if you were at work, dude? Okay, I was at work. I'm not gonna spend 5 fucking hours in the bathroom trying to like MacGyver my shit out of the toilet. Punch, 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 done. Wash my hands, back to work.
People here are
definitely-
filthy animals. You're the other guy who plunges all the time here too, by the way.
I've plunged that toilet a couple times.
Exactly, and now you know why.
Yeah.
Like plunging is
People
nothing
leave
to me.
it clogged
I get
all
a
the
fucking
time.
People will leave it clogged. They'll take a nasty dump and then walk away from it.
And there's plungers in both toilets. There's a plunger in every
plunger right
toilet.
there.
In every fucking bathroom, there's a plunger. There's no reason to not unplug your shit.
I could never clean up someone else's turd. I could never do that.
It makes me angry. Like you'd go in and be like, oh, I walk in and I'm like, you fucking asshole, and I get the plunger and I angrily plunge it. Like, it doesn't make me sick at all.
I've never clogged the toilet though.
You
get a fucking prize.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Like little milk duds come out.
Like rabbit shit.
Like the queen approves.
Like little pellets.
Seriously,
It's like a rabbit. That's what I
just-
admire about that story. Is that someone hired you to work on their house, and rather than disturb them or leave a backed up toilet, you punch
stuck your
the
hand.
shit out of the toilet.
She absolutely would have
She would have
cared.
become
Trust me.
friends with it and like to have it
No,
around. She would have kept it in a jar.
She would not have. She would have been quite
fuck,
upset.
So,
have you ever
RTX, huh?
Yeah.
I really don't know how to segue out of that.
That's not real.
What if the mouse knows how to cook?
Also, that was a rat.
That was
called fucking Ratatouille.
One time, one time at my house, I was in my house at night, and I could hear like in the wall, I could hear like something chewing, like crunk, crunk, crunk.
That's what chewing sounds like.
Yeah,
Right?
if you're chewing wood, that's what it sounds like. And I was like, what the fuck is that? So I walk over to it and I hear it like cronk, cronk, cronk.
Is it a robot?
So then I'm like, I don't know what to do because it sounds in the wall. So I just start punching the wall, like, get out of there.
Get out of there.
Get out of my home.
Get out of my house.
I had been drinking, right? So I started punching the wall.
You started a fist fight with your wall.
And it stopped.
I don't think there was an animal in the wall. I think Gus was just really drunk.
The noise stopped. So I was like, oh shit, it worked. So like I run outside, I don't know why, I run outside and I look on my roof and there's like a pipe right there coming out of the roof, like one of those like gas pipes, and like sitting on top of it is a giant rat. And it's just like hunched over, like I could see it like silhouetted in the moonlight. And I was like, you fucking asshole. I started picking up rocks and throwing it at it. And I saw it like jump off of the roof and like just start running, hauling ass, and it ran over to my neighbor's yard. And I was like, yeah, that's right, asshole. It's my
Your
house.
neighbors at that time were like, oh God, the alcoholic's outside. Throwing a fit again.
And then the next day, my neighbors sent me a text message. They were like, hey,
That's it. That's all they said.
they were like, they're like, yeah, we heard you outside, whatever. Like, they don't care. They know I'm weird, right? They're like, we heard you outside, and this morning we found this in our yard. They sent me a picture. It was a dead rat in their front yard. And I was like, I don't know how the fuck that happened. But that's the asshole that was in my room.
Awesome.
Like, that's the asshole that was eating my house.
He was crunk, 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 crunk. Oh my God, it's great.
I don't think you have anything to be worried about because you didn't even want to dispose of that mouse you found.
Oh my God, that they named Henry?
I know, when you told me that it had a name, I was like, oh, you're fucked. So you found, what made you think you had a mouse? Did you like hear it?
My roommate Mike saw it. One day he was up late and this thing just scurries across the room, and we had been gone that weekend, and we came home and he's like, hey guys, I'm pretty sure we have a mouse. And we're like, we don't have a mouse. This is a new apartment, we don't have a mouse. He's like, I think I saw a scurrying thing. We're like, we don't have a mouse, Mike. And my buddy Doyle gave him shit the whole time, like, oh, you're crazy. And then one night, Doyle sees the mouse run across. He's like, guys, Mike isn't crazy. We should stop giving him shit. We should get some things to get rid of a mouse. So they made a mouse trap. They come home, they kick in the door, they're like, we're gonna catch a fucking mouse. They had drawn up a plan. I'll show you the picture. They drew up on a piece of paper, it was mouse trap by Steven and Mike.
Was Nathan Lane there?
No,
Why are you saying it in that voice? None of your roommates sound like that. Mouse trap.
Mouse trap. That's how, like,
that's
when
the dramatic plan.
Yeah,
voice.
this is a plan.
Yeah.
Anyways, they wrote it up, and there was a shitty drawing of a box with a mouse inside saying, God, why have you forsaken me? It didn't work. What got it was a fucking Swiffer. One night, Doyle comes home, he's having a beer or something, and the thing scurries across our living room and into our closet, and I'm in my room asleep. Girlfriend's wearing headphones playing Minecraft. My other roommate's asleep. He's just looking at the closet, and he's like, I have it cornered. So he just starts going, Mike? Mike? Like, he does not want to leave because he's like, if I leave, it will move and everyone will think I'm fucking insane. So he's staring at the door, Mike! Mike! He opens the closet, doesn't see it. He grabs a Swiffer out of the closet. Mike! Nobody's coming. So he reaches with the Swiffer down the hall and starts banging on our door like, somebody please come help me. Erin finally hears it. She comes outside. The mouse is in there. They start pulling everything out. It finally comes down to like one shoebox is in the back corner of it. They're like, this is it. Move the shoebox. Sure enough, Henry, the little fucking mouse, is right there like, oh, fuck me. He runs out. He takes the Swiffer and tries to stab it. My girlfriend's like, don't kill it. Don't kill it. I wake up like, what the fuck's going on? I go out and Steven's just stabbing the ground with a Swiffer. They finally capture it. They throw it in the box. Oh, we got it. Oh, my God. It's there. It's this little tiny thing. It was jumping like crazy, running around, shitting itself. And then, like,
running around shitting.
It was leaving these little brown speckles all over the thing. It finally calms down. I'm like, finally, we got it. And then Erin goes, we should give it a name. Doyle, how about Henry? Me, no, we have to get rid of it right now.
Once you name it, you're fucked.
Yeah, I know. She wanted to keep it for a day. And then she's like, what if we had left it? No, we got to get rid of it.
You know what else works? A fucking mouse trap.
She would have, no. She was like, we can't kill it. It has to be humane.
It doesn't kill them, does it?
It can absolutely kill them. It
Dude,
can absolutely, with the size of the
Miles,
2 dimes,
Miles,
Mike,
there's a
2 dimes.
50-50 chance. Either it's gonna be killed or it's not. Okay?
She didn't like those odds.
Throw it up in the air, man.
And then what's great was she tweeted about, like, we finally set the mouse free. And then everybody bombarded her with that video of that dude that releases a mouse that is immediately swooped up by a hawk and eaten.
Yeah, that mouse is dead right now.
It's probably dead.
Yeah.
Henry's
dead.
Sorry,
no.
He probably died a much more gruesome death than if you had just killed it with a mouse.
How about we all sleep tonight, knowing that
Rest
Henry
in
could be
peace,
out there
Henry.
somewhere cold and alone.
or rotting in some
She
sort of
no,
bird's
she didn't want to
stomach.
release it at night. She was like, "What if it has like family and it can't find its family? What the? Just get rid of the mouse."
I
It was a
don't
cute
think the
mouse, though.
is
It was a
looking
cute
for
mouse.
its family. What if it's a chef, like in Ratatouille?
Barbara, that's a movie.
So?
Where
my
is
God.
that mouse now?
No, she released it into the woods.
Oh,
She released
okay.
it in the woods outside our apartment. We found a mouse in
That
our.
thing's just gonna come back.
We found a mouse in our apartment, and I'll admit it was an adorable creature. It was like the size of like 2 dimes on top of each other. It was very tiny.
2 dimes.
When I was in college, these guys drove through our front of our house. They drove through and they stopped in the front yard. They drove through our lawn. They stopped in the front yard, and there was a bunch of dudes in the back, and they had a full-size deep freeze, like a standalone freezer, and it was the back of a pickup truck. And 2 dudes go, "Hey, what's up?" And we're like, "What the fuck, your lawn?" And they go, "Here you go." And they kicked the freezer out, and it landed in the front lawn. And then they just drove off. And we're like, "What the fuck,
And it's
you
been passed
dickheads?"
down from generation to
Did
generation.
it work? No, it was fucking busted. They just wanted to get rid of it.
It's like, it's your problem now.
That's the way we did it. And one of our guys was walking to the bus the next day and saw the guy's truck. So we drilled a hole all the way through the freezer, ran a big-ass chain through the whole dumpster, and then chained it to the guy's grill. And somebody with a Sharpie on it wrote, "Hey, you dropped this."
Oh my God.
And we actually have video of the guy out there the next day, like, looking at this thing like, what
You
the
filmed
fuck?
him?
Yeah, what are we going to do?
Where is that video?
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody's got it. I don't have it.
I'd like that instead of calling the police and reporting him for dumping, you drilled a hole. That must have taken ages for a start.
You know, I was in a car this morning, and a school bus stopped, and I had to stop for it. And I was like watching the school bus, and I had this feeling that I hadn't had in years of thinking like, "Oh, that's a school bus." Ugh. And I thought, hey, I don't have to go to school. I'm an adult. I don't have to go. And I, in my car, I flipped off a school bus.
What? Why?
Because I'm an adult. Apparently. And I just thought, fuck you, school bus. I'm not going to school today.
Then you kids see you like, whoa, the guy just flipped me off.
The windows were all tinted. I didn't think about it. After I did it.
Did you do it driving by, or when you were just like stop behind it?
You have to stop in Texas. It was going this way, and I was like,
were you in the
and I was
Tesla?
just like, here's exactly how it went. I stopped, and I went, oh, haha.
See, you're a guy in like a $90,000 electric car flipping off a bunch of kids in the school bus.
Flipping off a guy who works for a living driving a school bus. I'm like, fuck you. But I was just trying to like, it was more like, I don't have to go to school today, so.
You're a terrible person.
I just didn't think about it. It was just a reaction. As you do.
Oh, God.
When was the last time? You've been out of school a long time, right?
Yeah.
I looked at the sun one time, and there was a blue dot. You know, when you look at the sun, you have the blue dot in your vision after that? So I had the blue dot, and my fucking older brother told me the blue dot will lead you to treasure. So I was...
I mean, once you've stopped looking.
I would stare at the fucking sun, and then look at the blue dot, and I really had an opinion in my mind that when the blue dot would disappear and I hadn't found the treasure yet, that I wasn't good enough at it, so I'd stare at the sun longer. My fucking mom comes out, looks at the window, and then I'm in the front yard, fucking half blind, like staggering after nothing, this imaginary blue dot that only I can see, and I'm like walking through the front yard going, wait. So, my fucking brother again strikes again with fucking
How many
asshole.
moments of fucking did your brother have with your mind?
He was
growing
terrible.
up.
He was a terrible individual to grow up with.
No,
So you both stared at the sun, and now you both wear glasses.
Yep.
I had a similar thing where I used to live in an apartment complex off of Riverside. One time I was coming back from work where you and I used to work, and I was going to my apartment, and I see this guy and this girl having a really heated discussion. And I was like, oh, that sucks for them. And then I see he's got one of his hands on her, holding her arm, like up the bicep, holding her upper arm while he's talking to her. And then he starts doing this. It's pointing like right there, or pointing her face. And I'm going up my stairs, and I'm like halfway to my door, and I'm like, fuck. So I go back down, and I walk up, and I go, is there a problem here? I go, what's going on? You know, fucking white knight. I show up. And then the guy doesn't speak any English. And he's like trying to tell me something like this. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I don't think you guys should be talking like this out here. You know, I don't think you should be talking to her like that. I don't know if you understand me. And she's like, yeah, she gets behind me. And I was like, oh shit.
God.
I was like, oh shit, it gets worse. It gets way worse. So I go, yeah. I said, listen, I said, I don't know what the situation is here. I don't understand what he's saying or anything like that. And he's saying, like he said Quanto a couple times. He said dinero and stuff like that. I go, he keeps saying dinero. Well, he keeps saying money to me. And she goes to me. She goes, okay, fine, yes, I have sex with people for money. And I was like, fuck, what did I just walk in the middle of?
Literally in the middle of.
I literally walked into the middle of this scenario between a professional woman and her John that apparently she had stiffed out of money and all this. And I'm like, I voluntarily walked into this fucking situation. Then I'm like, okay, you guys sound like you just need to work this out.
Okay,
I go, maybe you call a cop or something like that. And she goes, I'm gonna come with you. She goes, just take me somewhere in your car. I go, okay, that's an idea that I'm not taking you anywhere in my car. I said, but you can come and you can use my phone if you need to call somebody. If you need to call specifically a cop, you can use my phone to call a cop. That's what I'm willing to do right here. And she was like, I don't want to talk to any cops. And I'm like, okay, I'm walking this way now. And I just walked away. And
It's one of those situations where
I gave her ample opportunity to get out of the situation.
you want like a trap door to open, and you don't care what's under it.
Or you want your ejector seat where you hit it and you end up in a field.
Yeah, you go. A little sky hook.
That was total. When she said that, I was like, oh, fucking A. Yeah, so I like interrupted a heated transaction between a professional woman and her client. So that was not one of my prouder moments.
Nice.
Yeah.
When I first started going out with Esther, I had this really weird thing happen where we went out on a couple of dates, and this was years ago. This was like 7 years ago, right? So like on our third date or so, I was like, I have to tell her about Rooster Teeth. I have to tell her about this stuff. So
were you worried she was gonna like stop you because of it? She didn't ask you your job on the first date.
I told her about this internet stuff, but I'm like, this will become more relevant as the story continues. So I sat down with her, and I was like, listen, I do this stuff on the internet, and I'm kind of famous. And she's kind of a big deal. Right. Get out of here. I'm like, no, listen, it's going to happen. Like, someone's going to recognize me. I just don't want you to freak out. I'm telling you right now. She's like, shut up. Get out of here. So then we went to a Starbucks to get some coffee.
How much did you pay this person?
Literally, we walk in, and the barista's like, oh, my God, you're Gus from Rooster Teeth. She's like, how much did you pay that guy? Like, did you plan this? I was like, no, this is totally just happening. She's like, it was like literally within 5 minutes of me telling her, someone recognized me.
But seriously, how much did you pay that guy?
It was like $100. No, it was like totally randomly weird.
You're Gus from Rooster Teeth?
Rooster Teeth.
Rooster Teeth.
It wasn't in Austin. It was like in some other shitty little town.
Private company is looking for people who want to go to Mars and not come back.
I would do it.
Would you do that?
Yeah.
Like
You
they
would
say,
not.
with or without your
You
wife.
say stuff like this all the time. My retirement plan's a shotgun. You would never shoot yourself with a shotgun. You will never go to Mars and not come back.
I would do it.
Bull. I call bull.
I will
bet
do it
you-
just to spite you. I will go to Mars out of spite, motherfucker. I will leave the planet, and the whole time I'll just be like,
Gavin's back on Earth like, oh, I can't believe you went.
Oh, he got me.
Just before your phone leaves the service area of Earth, there's just a picture of you at Earth like this. You just see the planet.
It's like my last tweet.
By the time you land, we'll have telescopes. We'll develop telescopes powerful enough. We'll see you. We're just on Mars like this.
Earth.
Would you go?
I'd like to, yeah.
It's like Barbara leaving Canada.
You'd be alone.
I said I'd like to.
You'd be alone.
I assume they'd send a group of people.
Well, who cares? You're all gonna die together.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Would that help you? You want to go with a group of people?
I need to keep my routine as close to the way it is now. I gotta ignore people. I gotta like find reasons to hide.
I imagine him in the spacecraft, like making tape lines down the middle of the room. It's like, nope, this is mine. This is mine.
Would you go if there was no internet?
I mean, I assume there's going to be no internet. It might
you
be
go if there's
slow
no
as
pizza?
shit.
So they flew you all the way
They
to
only
Mars
have
and they
Time
didn't
Warner
install
cable on
internet. No.
Yeah, they don't have a cable long enough. They're still working on it.
What? Why does internet have to come from Earth?
No, they.
What? What? Why does internet have to come from?
Why do they have Mars internet?
You get a Mars net, you can mail 9 people.
Yeah, it's the same reason. There's no one there. Wikipedia sure is empty.
You can email 9 people and Gus will ignore you. No, you'd have.
Man, Mars.wikipedia.org has 2 articles.
Gus is on misconnections on fucking Craigslist on Mars. Mars.craigslist.com.
You, John. I saw you. You didn't say hi.
Saw you watering space plants. Me? Coffee?
You'd have the World Wide Web on Earth, and you'd have the
I assume there could be a slow link to transfer data, but it would take a long time.
You get like 10 Instagram alerts all day long that were just red dirt. You'd be like, I know. No, I put a sepia filter on this one. It's the fucking same. It still looks red.
That was just brown dirt.
It's like you go to like play a game and like you sort them by ping and they're all like 990. Like they're all like the terrible ping.
You would have to choke one of the other astronauts going, stop taking photos of your freeze-dried ice cream. We all eat it every day, we know.
You know, I went on vacation. I went to Orlando actually over the summer. You know, the first day was like the Saturday when we first started shooting Gauntlet Season 2. And the first people I ran into were Matt and Brandon at the shoot. They're like, hey, welcome back. How was your vacation? I was like, where'd you go? And I said, oh, I went to, you know, Universal Orlando. And Brandon was like, wow, did you bring me anything? And I was like, yeah, I did, Brandon. I brought you a gift. And he went, really? I was like, no, what the fuck is wrong with you? Of course I didn't bring you a fucking gift. And he just looked so crushed and defeated. Very
I love crushing Brandon's hopes. It's my favorite thing to do.
He was like crushed. Like it was like a physical weight having to put on his shoulders, and he just like
There's something
punched
really fun
down.
about disappointing him. Just to make him go, oh. It's really fun to do. You should try it.
I had it was the night before last night. I had a really, really strange dream, and it was so strange that I'm gonna talk about it here.
Really?
So,
This is like the dream analysis part of the podcast.
So I had a dream that I was walking my little dog, Oswald.
They're both little.
My littler dog. And it was the morning, and I had like my hoodie on, and like I had just gotten out of bed, and I was walking him in the front yard, and I look, and my next door neighbor is Gray. And I'm like, that's weird. How long has Gray lived next door to me? And then Miles and Aaron are talking to him. I'm like, what's everyone doing over here? Like in my neighborhood, they're like, oh hey. I'm like, Gray, how long have you lived here? He's like, I've lived here for like 2 years. I'm like, how have I not fucking known this? So then I keep walking my dog down the street, and then my next neighbor over is Mac Brown.
What? Mac Brown is the UT football coach.
I guess it was like the night he had announced his resignation, so maybe I'd been thinking about him. And Mac Brown had like this big, like Labrador dog, and like the Labrador comes out and he starts like licking my dog, and I look down and my dog is a candy cane. But in my head, it's fine. That's my dog. You know, and I'm like, oh my god, that
still
dog.
on like a leash and everything.
Yeah, it's on the candy cane's on a leash. And then, like the big Labrador has the candy cane in its mouth, and I'm like, control your dog, it's eating my dog. And then Mac Brown calls his dog away, but then like a piece of the bottom of the candy cane falls off. No. I'm like, look at that, look what my dog's fucked up.
So wait,
and then Mac Brown's like, it's okay, I can fix this. He goes into his house and he gets like this aerosol spray can, and he starts spraying the candy cane like to fuse the pieces back together, except like the little rounded part falls off, and I start freaking out like, my dog's face. Like that's the face to me, like my dog's face
I like how
just
you're
fell
still
off.
referring to it as your dog.
the
even
candy
though it's
cane.
And then Mac Brown just turns around and goes back into his house. I'm like, my dog's face fell off. What am I gonna do? And then I woke up and I was like, what the fuck was that?
So was the dog, did you know that it had changed and you were like, oh, the equivalent of the dog's face has come off? Or did you actually think that it was your dog in that form?
It was my dog in that form, I guess. Like, it wasn't gross or anything. It was just like a piece of candy cane broke off.
That's fucked up, dude.
And it was like really freaky. I was so upset. Then I woke up and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
On Twitter, I have a whole app that lets me mute people that I follow.
Yeah.
It's like,
Can you imagine trying to describe your mute function to a caveman and try and make that make sense? It's like, okay, so this feature, what it does is, with this device, it lets me see what they do on that device,
Right.
but then I don't want to let them know that I don't want to see the stuff on that they're typing on the device.
Yes.
So it lets me not see it, even though he thinks that I'm seeing it.
Right.
And the caveman would probably just club you to death.
He would club me to death. He would club me to death, and he would smash my phone.
Yeah.
He'd say like, so he has a device that he puts words into it, and then the words go into the air, and my device will take the air and pull the words out of it, and then I ignore them. I would have bought a device to pull words out of the air that I don't want to read. And I carry it with me.
Specific.
And I look at it every 30 seconds. I pull it out to stare at it.
The thing is, if there was a scale of useful things a human could do, then you're dealing with Twitter and it's like this. It's so narrowed down. And then it's narrowed down even further to the point where it's so irrelevant to anyone. Dream the other night.
Did you?
It was awesome. It's probably like the second or third one I've ever had. I was in my house with my family in England. For some reason, that wasn't weird to me. I was just in England. And nobody...
Why would that be weird? That
Because
you
I
would
don't
be in
live
your
there.
house. Oh.
It felt like it was just normal.
Okay.
But basically, nobody could really understand me. Like, everyone would start talking right before I finished what I was saying, and they would misunderstand me. And I was getting really worked up. And I was like, wait a sec, whenever I start talking, someone else starts talking. And it just wasn't making sense. Someone was off about it. And then I decided, I was like, it's totally a dream. So I started yelling. I was like, why won't anyone listen to me? And then I picked up this, like, there's this weird gem on the table, and I picked it up, and I was gonna bat my brother over the top of the head with it. And I was like, 80% sure it was a dream.
80% sure.
But I was like, this actually might be real. It might really hurt him. So I didn't do it.
What was the gem? Like a big
it was like
diamond?
it was like a green diamond.
And you didn't think that was weird?
Nah. So I was about to whack him over the head. I didn't. Instead, I kicked the front door open and started running outside, and everything started melting. And the gem melted through my hand. I was like, it was a dream.
That's pretty cool.
I could have lamped my brother over the head
Sounds like
with
that scene from Aladdin.
it. Yeah.
Can you run?
Yeah.
Can you run in your dreams? A lot of people can't.
No, it was sludgy for sure.
Yeah.
But everything was like a wet painting.
Yeah.
I was on a date with a girl.
No, you weren't.
No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Let him go. Let him go.
I was on a date with a girl like really long time ago. I was in high school or something, and my dad was driving us somewhere. I think I didn't have a car yet, and we had passed in Texas. There's a certain time of year where bluebonnets just blossom everywhere. There's beautiful blue flower. They're all along the sides of the highways and stuff like that. And generally, a lot of families will stop and they'll take a picture of their kids in the bluebonnet fields. It makes for a nice like Christmas card or some bullshit. So we passed a family that had pulled over on the side of the highway to take a picture in the bluebonnets, and me and my girlfriend at the time were like, oh wow, look at that! Oh, that's so sweet. We should do that. And my dad's a really quiet guy. He's just this big Mexican dude, and he normally doesn't say much. Like especially when I was in high school, like we just didn't talk that much. He was just really quiet, like no sports. But I don't know why he felt the need to chime in. He goes, I heard on the news the other day, a family went out and took their picture in the bluebonnets, and baby got bit by a rattlesnake and died. It was just like stunning silence in the car, and the best part was he just starts laughing. I'm like, what? Like, she looks at me like, is your father fucking insane? And I'm thinking, I think my dad's insane. And he's just laughing, like, what the fuck's going on? He goes, I'm sorry, I just remembered a funny Saturday Night Live skit. I was like, what? Apparently he was talking, he was talking about the Debbie Downer skit. Like, there was a skit where, like, she would say, like, 95% of people die of whatever. And then the character looks in the camera and you hear, wah, wah. So apparently he realized he was being a Debbie Downer and then just started laughing. But in reality, he just looked like a crazy person.
So you're saying you scored?
Absolutely not.
How many dead bodies were in the back of the trunk?
Well, I mean, he was driving a truck, so like a good hefty bunch.
No, fellas, go way out in the blue bonnet. I'm going to take care of something over here. You mind handing Daddy a shovel?
No, don't look at Daddy. He'll be busy.
You guys have fun on your date.
It's just a rattle.
Where'd you go on your date?
We went to the Mexican food restaurant.
Your hometown.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
I made friends with all the homeless people around.
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, how did that work out?
You know what? I have no regrets.
I do, because every time I walked by a certain homeless person, he'd say, "Where's your boss? He got $20 for me." Like, I'm the fucking like the go-between guy now. Like I just bring him a bag and run.
No. The worst part. You're neglecting the worst part.
He would come to the door.
He would come to our front door of the office and start ringing the doorbell, and I'd go down expecting a delivery or something. Like, hey, is your boss here? Like, who the fuck are you? No, get out of here.
He'd be like, I was hoping he'd get me a hotel room tonight. He would say that shit all the time. They're gonna cut my other leg off tomorrow, so I need a comfy bed. And the next day, he'd still have that fucking leg.
He owes us that leg.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Like, I'm coming for the leg.
It's an office trophy. We can put it up next to all of our machinima awards.
I just think I meet so many people like us, There was a thing where...
What, with homes and jobs? Fucking being fully employed people.
Are you getting bored with that?
I guess so. I'm trying to expand my sphere of friends and include it.
Back when we were doing Ugly Internet, we had banner ads on the website, and we got a check from them for like $24.
Whoa!
And we framed it.
Yeah. Why cash it when you can frame it?
I also remember the first time we ever got a check from GameStop when they started selling our DVDs retail, and Jeff lost it. Like it was almost like with my kid.
In his defense, he says you lost it.
He's a fucking shithead. I would never lose a check like that. I handed him the check because it was like the biggest check either of us had ever seen in person, and I handed it to him. It's like literally, he was like handing it to like a 5-year-old,
and like hand it to him, turn around, do a full revolution, go, where's the check? Goes, oh. Where's the check? Where is it? I mean, we hunted up and down the street looking for that check.
And it was like on Congress, right?
I had to call them and get a reissue. It was like on South Congress. We were going to lunch to celebrate.
You handed it to him in the street.
Hand to him in the car. And then we get out of the car and I go, I need the check back. He goes, I don't have it. Idiot. So it just disappeared instantaneously. My kid does that.
Where do you think the check is now?
I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. And Teddy, my youngest, who's the most irresponsible kid on the planet, he takes off his shoes and then he loses them. And then he puts it on you. Like, where are my shoes? Where are my shoes? Like I don't know where your damn shoes are. They're your shoes. Put them in the same place. So one time he had one shoe on at the end of a movie, and we hunted up and down the rows for his other goddamn shoe. And finally we found it. Not down 3 rows, up 3 rows.
How does that happen?
I don't even know. So I put down Ty's shoe, because he wasn't old enough to tie his shoes yet, this a couple of years ago. Then we go walking. We walk 3 steps down. He's crying. And I turn around and go, why? He goes, I lost my shoes. He literally, this is not a joke. We went 40 feet, and he didn't have his shoes anymore. He didn't know where they were.
For 5 years, I was the waiter on every television show. Nobody knows this.
Were you a waiter on Ally McBeal?
I was a waiter on everything.
And some movies.
I was a waiter on Ally McBeal. And I worked at that a couple of times, and I got to the point where I kind of knew Lucy Liu and I kind of knew Portia de Rossi. I almost spilled a drink on them at one point, but they're very nice. And we started a conversation or whatever, and everything was fine. And at the time, I was on the meat diet. And I think Portia de Rossi was a vegetarian. And we were sort of going back and forth, and we were talking about it, and whatever. There was a thing, but it's like, it's very dark on that set. And they had wheeled out like a potato bar. Like, it's got sour cream.
Like, did they steal it from Wendy's?
I've already told the story wrong. I've already ruined it. I've already told the story wrong.
But we don't know how you ruined it.
And
they wheeled out a taco bar.
Like, they wheeled out a taco bar.
They wheeled out a taco bar. It had like lettuce, it had sour cream, it had all this stuff. They had a taco bar. And I went over there.
But you said potatoes for the first time. What happened to the potatoes?
So I'm on the fucking meat diet.
Joel. Sorry, go ahead.
What did you put on your potato? Did you start with sour cream?
No, I mean, had it been anything. So I go over there. But you know what? I'm on the fucking meat diet. And so it's like, you know what? I am just going to get a fucking motherfucking bowl of fucking ground beef. I do not give a fuck. I am on the fucking meat diet. I get a fucking get a ground bowl, and they are. I had just talked to them, and they were looking. They watched me. They were watching me unload this giant bowl of just ground beef into a bowl, and I'm thinking to myself, oh well, they're vegetarians. They probably think I'm like an asshole or whatever. But it's like, you know what? Fuck them. I'm on the meat diet. I'm gonna fucking eat meat. I don't care. So I keep unloading this ground beef, and I get a fucking big heaping tablespoon of ground beef. I put it in my mouth. It's bacon bits.
Oh, gross! Like real bacon,
it's
or the bacon bits?
It's fucking synthetic.
The bacon
fake
bits.
Fucking bacon bits. I have a giant fucking bowl. I have a fucking giant fucking bowl of fucking bacon bits, and everybody saw me fucking walk over there and make a giant fucking bowl of bacon bits. Lucy Liu and Portia Rossi saw me stand at the table with the bacon bits and kept thinking, looking at me weird. And now I've got bacon bits in my mouth. And now I have to make a fucking choice. Now you have to make a fucking decision. Where it's like, am I just going to fucking eat these? I fucking ate those fucking bacon bits.
You did not.
You had
I would have done the same thing. You're in a socially awkward situation. You got to stick with it.
You got to stick with it. And that would have been a funny story had I not blown it with the potato bar at the top. And then he called me out on my potato bar.
How does that feel?
He ruined the story. Yeah, but you guys never tell good stories. So I have to go in there and try and help you.
Make sure you lower the gain on input number 4. It's gets you a little hot.
Gain equals funny. Gain equals. That's what you're always trying to do. You're trying to turn down the funny.
Wow. Bacon bits are literally the only thing on the internet that I cannot find nutritional information
Do they still exist?
Yeah. It's basically if salt could grow a scab. That's what those things are.
But that's my hair. My hair is a byproduct of the fucking bowl of bacon bits I had to eat.
Bacon bits, please.
I was just curious, if you ate 5 ounces of those bacon bits, you had 1,020% of your daily sodium intake in one meal.
What's the lethal amount of sodium?
I don't know. They're 140 milligrams of sodium.
It's funny because
6% per gram. Per gram.
I went to the bathroom 27 times that day.
I love Joel, and he's one of my favorite people.
But
But Joel, the only time Joel will ever be happy in his life is when the asteroid is broken the atmosphere and is about to hit the planet. He'll point to go, see, I told you. And then he'll be happy, truly happy for that 10 seconds before that asteroid hits.
Now my purpose for my existence is to be there within like 20 feet of Joel.
With an
so
eye
at the
shot.
very last second I go, I remember you saying that. And then you can crash.
It is,
take it away at the last moment.
One time, a few years ago, I went and I tried to buy a suit. I went to a store here, and I was like, a suit store. Ooh, I won't name names. But I walked in, like, I want to buy a suit. They're like, okay, and they'd like start taking my measurements. They were like, yeah, we can't sell you a suit.
What?
I was like, why? They're like, you're too skinny and your arms are too long. I was like,
You went to a shitty suit
they're like,
store.
They're like, why don't you go try another store? I was like,
Are you serious?
yeah, I was like, surely you made a suit like this. You can make a suit to fit me. Like, nope.
Sir, your body resembles spaghetti.
They like looked at me like I was a freak. They're
You're
like, sir, you are too skinny and your arms are too long. I don't think you're human. We are calling the police, sir.
The FBI is on the way.
Somebody came out and looked at you and they measured you and they're like, it's just.
It's not right.
Over and over again, that can't be right.
He calls his manager
I'll be
over.
right back. I'll be right back. Goes in the back and you see them like, did you see him? What?
And then someone up front's like, hey guys, something just walking to the store. Yeah, no, we're on it. We're on it.
We think it's some kind of hairless ape.
Like, we're gonna have to ask you to leave.
So I was so mortified because I hate talking to people anyway. I was like, it's been years. I still can't go ask someone for a suit again. I'm still like
Isn't
shocked.
that like what a tailor's for?
That's what I thought.
Like,
You feel
hey,
that,
this
right?
doesn't fit you.
We're gonna
I'm
get
gonna
you over
make
that,
it
Gus.
fit you.
This
Gus,
was,
ask me
this
for a
was a couple
suit.
years ago, right?
What?
This incident?
This was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, so you filled out a little, right?
Yeah, I'm a little bigger in the middle. But what does that matter?
You
Okay,
could
I've
be
got a fucking
48
stomach
pounds,
now.
and someone should be able to like make you a suit.
Yeah.
I've seen
Make
babies
it
in suits
smaller.
make you a suit.
They have
I
children's
know.
suits.
Apparently those
Yeah.
children are more well proportioned than I am. Someone said, so Gus is Slender Man.
That's a horrifying.
Yeah, no, Slender Man has a suit. I don't. So we're different.
Slender Man
He's got
sounds
that
like
going for him.
And
Slender Man
tentacles and
sounds
shit.
like a last name, like
Slenderman?
Gustavo Slenderman.
My name's Roy Slenderman. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah,
Child
exactly.
abductor extraordinaire. So did you get drunk at the wedding?
Yeah, I couldn't get too drunk, though. Esther got so drunk.
I love stories that start with this.
She fell down and skinned her knee really bad.
No.
And like bruised the shit out of her pinky. And like
How do
she's
you
all
skin
fucked
your
up.
knee? You got to be running, right?
No, she like fell like knee first into the ground. It's not like it got cut. It's like all the capillaries under the knee broke. And she's like bleeding all under the skin. And it's not coming out.
God.
And then she was like trying to tell me she was fine. I was like, no, let me put a Band-Aid on it or something. She's like, no, I'm fine. I was like, well, at least stop wearing your heels. Put some flats on. She's like, no. like fighting me the whole time.
Oh my God. Drunk Esther is my favorite.
I said she looked like she had warrior paint on because she had started crying at the wedding and her eyeliner started running down like the side and like streaks.
Was she lying on her back? Why did it go this way?
Because she was like rubbing her face.
Oh my God.
One of her aunts got really drunk and started getting grabby with me. Like she kept grabbing my butt. And every time I tried to look away, she would grab my face and be like, no, look at me. Look at me. I was like, okay.
Would you want to go
Great
paintballing though? Because we could call that our crew.
Yeah, well, you have to
Because-
like approve people.
Well, that
Yeah.
same night
Fuck
that
you, everyone
John
else.
and Gavin had their tackle fest, we went to Blazer Tag, which is pretty awesome.
Were your legs sore for like 2
Yes.
days afterwards?
My legs
Something
are
about
still
running-
slightly sore.
Something about running up and down slopes with a gun.
Something about eating face, and Adam was chilling in one corner, and everyone's sliding, and you're not supposed to run, but we might have broken a little bit of the rules.
They're like, there's actually rules,
We
and
were
they're like,
power
no
walking?
running, no doing this.
Well,
it
'cause
was
it's
like
dark.
it was
Yeah.
like 13 of us, like from Rooster Teeth
By
and like
ourselves.
Gauntlet stuff.
Gauntlet people
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
and like 3 other people that just happened to be there. So it's like I'd never been there before, and as soon as it started, I'm like, oh, I guess nobody's gonna. Oh, everybody's running. Everybody's running. It's like, oh,
And
like everybody's
sliding.
running and screaming, diving, and all over the place and shit. And it's basically like 15 minutes of running up and down 45-degree angle slopes, and like my legs were completely destroyed afterward.
There was some surreal moments of that whole week.
It was so stupid.
Like we were doing laser tag, and I decided I was gonna be an arsehole and start like running and diving. And at one point, I was like sliding down on my back while shooting behind me like an action movie. And there was like another slope that met at the bottom of my one. So I come sliding down, and like my head lands right in the middle, and I see Justine sliding down as well, and our heads were like right together at the end. It's like, this is a really weird moment in my life, right? Like, I've just slid head first into Justine.
Yeah. I'm like, Gavin, what'd you get? He's like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, Gavin, what'd you get? He got 13. Lindsay got 12.
12, baby. And I was sick. I vomited after the first round.
Wow.
Yeah.
She was sick before we got there. Yeah,
Wow.
serious. She was sick before we got there. So then I was like, don't fucking play. Like I said before we left, I'm like, if you're sick, let's not go play fucking laser tag. She's like, nah, I'm fine.
It's so fun.
So then we go play laser tag, and we were on different teams both rounds. We played 2 rounds. And one round, like 10 minutes in, I turn the corner, and I see someone on the floor, and I shoot them and run past, and I hear like as I run by, I'm like, was that Lindsay? And like I walk back around the corner. She's like, oh, I don't feel so good. I'm like, oh, you're right. And like I start talking to her or whatever, and she's like, yeah, no. And you know how it works? Like if you get shot, you're flashing for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, just like sit in the corner and take it easy. You know, if you don't feel well, she's like, all right, bye. She's like, oh, I love you. I'm like, I love you too. And then I shot her in the head and I walked away. I was like, I need more points. And I shot her and just walked away.
Yeah. And then immediately after we finished, I was like, I have to go, everyone. And I'm sure the manager heard me. It was like the most violent, gross vomiting. And then I was totally fine for round 2, though.
She takes laser tag serious.
And then at one point in the night, everybody was like, well, I guess that's that. And I think it was Brandon that was like, no.
It was like 1 a.m. or something.
Yeah. Brandon was like, we can't end this party. We got to go do something else. And someone threw out the idea of a strip club. I've never been to a strip club before, and I had no idea.
Mind-boggling to me.
It was, and I feel like I can't look at anybody but who I'm talking to. Because if I make eye contact with any of the girls there, it's me like, I'm going to come dance on this guy. And I just want to be like, no, don't. I just smiled because I want to be polite. Please don't. I don't know how to tell you. It's just, I don't know. It makes me really uncomfortable. So Brandon picked up on that real quick, and I was having a conversation with you, and all of a sudden I felt my chair getting.
You were sitting in a chair that had wheels.
Yeah, I was sitting. Well, all the chairs had wheels, and I'm sitting at the table, and all of a sudden the table, table's getting farther away. Like, oh, where am I going? And I look as I'm turning around, I see like Brandon's just in tears, laughing. Chris is snickering. I'm like, oh no, they didn't. And I turn around and I see the stripper. Now, everybody at home and everybody here, I want you to imagine a stripper. I don't know her name, but imagine a stripper with the name Dark Chocolate.
That's exactly what Brandon said. Her name is Dark Chocolate.
Was her name really Dark Chocolate?
Yeah,
okay, imagine a stripper named Dark Chocolate. Make her 3 times as big. That was this stripper. Okay. They're all laughing. Apparently, she was really expensive. I don't believe that one bit.
It's absolutely true.
So
twice as much.
It was more.
I'm getting a side-by-side, play-by-play story here, and I'm told it was twice as much.
He is absolutely telling the truth. It was.
Okay.
It was more because she had a special talent.
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sitting in the chair. I don't want to be here. I'm like just dripping sweat, but I don't know how to. Like whenever I'm in an awkward situation, I just laugh. That's how I deal with nervously. So she leans forward and she says the words, "I'ma smother you in my titties." And I burst out laughing. I just started laughing uncontrollably, and the next thing I know was, and I couldn't, I'm suffocating in her titties, and I'm laughing my ass off.
There was that,
and then, oh wait, what was all I remember?
The other
was
thing was she absolutely had a booty technique. Dude, it was all like she bent over and did the thing where it's like, how does someone do that?
But no,
the whole time I was laughing.
I'm laughing with a face full of. It was essentially just 30 seconds of me going.
Somewhere I see Jordan out in California going.
For the record, Brandon tells me that when you went and paid her and pointed at you, she looked at you and burst out laughing.
Nice.
Oh no.
Nice.
Okay. Wait, real quick. The last part is I'm over and she stops mid her thing and rears back and she looks at me. She goes, "Are you retarded or something?" I didn't know that. I go, "No, I'm just really having a hard first time," and just continue to laugh.
Kyle's by the camera. He's like beat red right now.
The best part about that. The best part about that
is while this is going on, Chris, who had also apparently never been to a strip club before, found it so funny, he takes out his phone and tries to start recording it. And he's like, and filming it in like a second. There was like this huge dude. He was like, he ripped the phone right out of his hands. And he's like, delete this. And he deleted it. And Chris is like,
I just wish those bouncers were everywhere.
Yeah, dude, it was like instant. Chris is like, this thing, but oh God, no.
There is one more story I read this past week that I wanted to share before we wrap up here. Esther was tweeting or texting me to remind me to tell this story. She saw this news story. She forwarded it to me about this guy in China who lived somewhere outside of Shanghai, and he was sad that he had no girlfriend, so he cut his own dick off. And then he decided he needed to get help for it, so he got on his bike and rode his bicycle to the hospital. He got to the hospital, and they told him they couldn't help him because he didn't bring his dick with him. So they told him to get back on his bike, ride home, and bring his dick back. So he got back on his bike, rode all the way back home, picked up his dick, and then brought it back to the hospital. And when he got back, they're like, yeah, that took too long. We can't put it back on.
Jesus Christ. He didn't put it on ice or anything?
No.
What in your right mind? Like, who?
Also, why didn't they put him in an ambulance? Or why did they send someone?
Where was this?
It's in China.
Also, why would
you follow the trail of blood back to where his cut his dick
Can you
off?
imagine? It's like you cut it off, you're like, oh shit, I guess I got to the hospital. Time to get on the bike. It's like, ow.
Out of all modes of transportation.
Can you imagine being a stranger and finding 3 lines of blood and thinking, I bet a guy cut his dick off, went to the hospital, came back, picked up his dick and went there again?
What was the hospital run by like all high school football coaches? Like just walk it off, put some dirt on it, you'll be fine.
Oh my God! Why would you ever?
Just throw sawdust on his junk.
How fucked up do you have to be to cut off your own penis?
Yeah, and there goes Gavin.
I'm having like sympathy pains. I don't even.
All right, well, thanks for watching, everyone. we're ending on that with RT Podcast.
I love you.
All right, bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Which is awesome, fun.
Game was so good.
I think my favorite part of the night, though, was the very end. So we had been hanging out. There was pizza. There was the game. We were just mingling with a bunch of fans, signing for fans.
Signing fans
signing
on their face.
Some people asked, yeah, no. We're hanging out. I was talking with Ray, and he has to go to the bathroom at some point, and he leaves. So while he's in the bathroom, some lady comes up to us and is like, okay, we're about to have a photo op, but we want only people that worked on the game in here. So if everybody could go ahead and just please get out. Even you guys, Rooster Teeth, we love you, but go ahead and step on out. You guys can come back in after we take the picture, and then the game's released.
Apparently, only we were told.
Only we
These
did.
assholes
You
are still in there.
motherfuckers were still.
They told me
somehow
to get
inside.
in. They were like, come on, get in the picture. I was like, okay.
Some guy that didn't
lower,
like us told us to
we're
leave.
lower class.
Anyways, so we're all outside. It was like me, Carrie, Kyle, and we're just hanging out. It was really cold. It was really sad. It was like watching inside like a happy family around Christmas dinner or something, and we were just out in the cold.
It's like watching the cool kids at the table.
pretty much.
And you're like at the nerd table eating your lunch alone.
I'm always at the
seasoned with tears.
So we're outside. We're just talking. We're like, hey, where's Ray? And that's when we see Ray just like fucking just strolling out of the bathroom, happy as can be, and then he just stops like deer in headlight because everybody's grouped together, like standing together, about to take a picture, and he just freezes like, what? Where did everybody go? What's going on? And he did like he stopped and went, and he looked back to the bathroom like, should I go back to the? And then finally, with his infinite wisdom, he just decided, I'm gonna be in this picture. And he just went in and he just started getting buddy with everybody. He was like, hey, what's up? Yeah, Halo 4, right? We're awesome. And they took the picture, and I like to think years down the road, someone's gonna be like, and these were my coworkers. I don't remember this lad, this asshole.
My favorite part of that story is when Miles was telling me that story, I was like, I had just walked up to them, like standing outside the window, and I'm like, what are you guys laughing about? And they explained that to me. And as they're telling me that story, I see Ray and that group of people just like,
hey, what's up? Hamming it up.
just like super hamming it up for the camera.
Shout out to Ray.
Shout out to Ray. Shout out.
But yeah, like I said, a bunch of us had a good time at Vegas. Some people did not have as good a time at Vegas.
Who had a bad time?
Our normal floor manager, Kyle Taylor, did not have a very good time at Las Vegas.
What happened to him?
Well, on Saturday, we went to Friday. We went to the Flamingo. Has a really big pool. There's like a bar, and it's enormous.
Before you get into this, I would just like to clarify.
that I did not show up until Friday evening, so I was not here for this.
Okay.
Yes. This will become important in a minute.
Yeah, that's gonna be important.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so they've been stationed by the door. We showed up, everybody was completely just like gone. One of those people was Kyle Taylor. I love Kyle.
Drunky.
Oh, sir.
From what I've heard, he was the drunkest of them all.
He was the drunkest of them all. And he'd put like all of his things, like he got a locker, like when you go to Schlitterbahn or Six Flags, you know, they give you a little locker, he put his bag in there, and we all kept our stuff in there. At a certain point in the afternoon, after a lot of things had happened, it became very obvious it was time for Shirtless Kyle to go home and take a little bit of a nap.
Why was it time?
Why was it time?
Yeah.
Because he was drunk as piss. That's
What examples?
Examples? Hey, let's get out of the pool and go to the hot tub. Okay, he like gets out of the pool and then starts to go back into the pool. Lots more group hugs.
Too many group hugs.
Some guy was trying to get Aaron's number, and he walks up to him and goes, "Hey, this is my best friend's girl, and you better watch it." And then just like stared him down until the dude like awkwardly left. It was amazing. So it was time for him to go home, and unfortunately, at some point, we never figured out who took his bag out of the locker and set it on the ground, I guess to get something else of theirs out of the locker, and then walked off. In that bag was his wallet, his iPhone, a lot of cash, and he just got left behind because nobody knew it was his.
So it was someone in your group.
It had to have been someone in our group. We have suspicions, but
this is why I let everybody know that I was not
wasn't
there.
Gary.
Oh,
the
my
worst
God.
part of it was I was one of the last people to leave the pool, and I remember seeing that bag on the floor and thinking, oh man, somebody left their bag, and walking right past it because I had no idea it belonged to Kyle. After we got into our room, somebody started saying, hey, I think Kyle might have had a bag. He keeps talking about where's his stuff. So I remember the bag that I saw, and I was like, I'm on the case. And as soon as I got in the elevator down to the floor, I was like, oh no, I'm also really drunk. So I became like, I remember
You're like a terrible Batman.
at some point I got pizza. I don't know when in my search, but I remember at some point I had pepperoni pizza in my hand.
I picture you with a magnifying glass following footsteps, and you end up at a pizza stand. You're like, a clue. And you're like eating pizza.
Every pepperoni, a clue.
But I remember being down. I finally made my way to Lost and Found. I had my pizza. I was like, yeah, my friend lost his bag. It had like a wallet and an iPhone. And the person, because they don't let you in the Lost and Found, they have to do it through like an intercom system. And the guy on the other end goes, huh, okay, I'll look for that. I was like, oh shit, that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
It was bad news, man.
You're like Columbo. Like one last thing. I wish I could have seen Drunk Detective Miles. I think that sounds
Dude,
that sounds like a
I was on
recurring
the
character.
case. I was on the fucking case.
One of those hats.
Well, one time in college,
Segue.
on his 21st birthday, a bunch of people took Kyle out. Obviously, you know, hit up 6th Street. They got a lot of drinks. I couldn't go because I wasn't 21 at the time. And my roommate and I would frequently hang out in Kyle's room because Kyle had a working Xbox. He came back from his night of drinking, stumbles in through the door, like immediately is like, "What's up, motherfuckers?" And we're like, "Oh, great! Kyle had an excellent birthday." And he comes in and we're asking, "Hey, how much did you drink?" "Oh, I don't even. Everyone was so nice. They got me Jaeger and Jaeger," and we're like, "That sounds like so much fun." And he had like, I remember he had like a carton of cigarettes on him, and they didn't understand how he got, and like his shirt was inside out. It was really crazy. He collapses on the floor. This was how drunk he was, by the way. He starts spitting on the floor, and we're like he just starts going. Like lying on the floor.
So he's lying down and spitting.
He's like on the floor. His face is just sideways pressed against the floor, and he's just like spitting on the ground next to him. And at the time, we were really upset with his current roommate, or with his roommate at the time named Zach, because he was being a dickhead. And we're like, "Kyle, you realize you're spitting on the floor, right?" He goes, "It's Zach's floor too." Shout out to Shirtless Kyle.
Yeah, there's one.
It's Zach's floor too.
Well, yeah, he goes, "It's Zach's floor too." So he's spitting all over the floor. At some point, he finally gets up. And he's like, "I need to go to the bathroom." So we help him in the bathroom. Like, he takes his shirt off because he's feeling terrible, and that's just what makes him feel better. And I hear like the most violent, like, sickness I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, there was like an exorcism going on in the bathroom. So I'm like, I should probably go check on him. I look in, and he's just like lurched over, like perched on the toilet seat. Like, he's got no shirt. You can see like his awesome like metal spine scar, and like his muscles are just raging. I'm like, "Kyle, are you okay?" And he turns, and as he turns, I can see in the toilet is nothing like, it was like the black symbiote suit from Spider-Man was like what was in the toilet. I'm like, "Are you okay?" It was just like blackness and death in the toilet bowl. I'm like, "Kyle, are you okay?" He goes, "Of course I'm okay."
I'm Wolverine, and he just like completely upchucked in the middle of his sentence. It was the most powerful, horrifying thing I'd ever seen. But like, from then on, he was always just Wolverine.
I really want to meet Drunk Kyle.
Dude, Drunk Kyle's so much fun, dude. He's a good time.
Until he loses his
Shout out to
stuff.
Drunk Kyle.
Michael posted a picture of Lindsay's wedding dress in a bag, and he said, I guess I won't get to see this thing for the next 6 months. I'm not allowed to see it. So I had the craziest dream where Lindsay was at a fitting for her wedding gown, and she's looking in the 3 mirrors, you know, and she's looking at herself and all this stuff. And Michael walks in while she's doing that, and she freaks out because it's not their wedding day, and he's seeing her in the wedding gown. But then she determines, like, she's trying to talk to him, and he can't hear her, and he can't see her. And she determines that because it's not their wedding day, he literally can't see her in her wedding dress. So she can't be seen. And then she figures out that no unmarried man can see her while she's wearing her wedding dress. So she's basically invisible to a big part of the population. So she's like she starts going to like gym locker rooms and like spying on dudes naked and stuff like that.
Nice.
But then at the same time, we're invaded. And you know how when you're having a dream, how your brain mixes stuff up back and forth, but it doesn't matter?
Yeah.
We were invaded by Poland, and the U.S. Government determines that most of the army is made of unmarried males. And so they're like, wow, now Lindsay is our best secret agent. And I don't know how she went from locker room perv to secret agent, but it was a really quick leap.
She somehow let the government know about all this.
Oh, somehow. So she's wearing her wedding dress, and she's like going through government training, like as like a ninja, and she's fighting the Polish army. Like she's out there in the battlefield, like karate chopping people in her wedding dress.
Judo chop.
But then the first thing she goes into, the first battle she goes into, the married soldiers see her, and they're like, "Who's?" And they start shooting at her. This chick in a wedding dress that's out here, and all the unmarried guys, the younger guys, are like, "What's going on?" They're getting karate chopped, and so she barely escapes. And Gus was a scientist in the government, and he's trying to determine a way to make her more powerful. Then he makes a machine, or he's trying to build a machine that will like magnetically pull off all the married guys' wedding rings. And if that happens, then they won't be able to see Lindsay, and she'll be able to attack them as well. And you're working on this machine for a long time, and Gavin is like, nah, I got a better plan. And you have like a red beret, like you're like a SS guy, or SAS guy.
I bet I look damn good.
Yeah, and you're like, I got a better plan. And you start parachuting in strippers, and the strippers land in the battlefield, and the married guys, once the strippers start running around, they all start just pulling off their wedding rings and hiding them because they want to appear like they're single to the strippers. And then Lindsay comes in and is like, chop, 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 karate chopping people. And then she gets all the way through karate chopping everybody in the Polish army, gets all the way to the leader of the Polish army, and for whatever reason, he can see her, okay? And she's fighting him, he's beating the hell out of her, and she's like, why isn't this working? What's wrong? Then she finds out that he's secretly gay, and he doesn't like her wedding dress. Like, he's criticizing, like, too much taffeta or too much lace. And she's like, no, it's like kryptonite. Because this guy's in America, and gay marriage isn't legal where they are, the rules don't apply to him, and he can see her in her wedding dress. And she's fighting him, and she's about to die because he's about to kill her, and he keeps, like, going, and she's crawling backwards. And then all of a sudden, she disappears. And he's like, what happened? It's because she crossed the state line to where gay marriage was legal. So now we can't see her. And she karate chops him and wins the whole war for everybody. Then, this whole time, Michael has been upset that Lindsay just disappeared one day.
He's been with the government this whole time.
And then the war started. And so he's like completely depressed. So he has decided to go through with the wedding anyway. So she's all torn up, and she's trying to make it to the church. Like, she's all banged up. She's got an eye patch at this point.
So all Michael's family's there, and he's getting married to no one.
To nobody, right.
Sad bastard.
And so and now Gus, for some reason, once again, whatever reason, is a scientist and a priest. And he's marrying them, or marrying Michael to nobody. And he goes through the vows with Michael.
But wouldn't I know? Anyway, go on.
It doesn't matter. No, the logic doesn't apply. And he's going through the vows with Michael, like, do you take this blank space to be your lawfully known wife? Michael goes, I do. And he's like, boo. Michael's all crying. And then he says the blank space, and do you take Michael to be your lawfully wedded husband? And you hear Lindsay's voice go, I do, out of nowhere. And then she appears because now they're married. And she appears, and that was the end of the dream. It was the craziest fucking dream I've ever had. No, I don't take anything like that.
That's totally
amazing thing.
That's totally an alpha brain dream.
But like nobody wrote that. Your brain wrote that while it was not you were asleep.
It was bored.
The stuff about the state lines and gay marriage not being legal in one
And the
state,
strippers
she
as a
gets him into
tactic.
another one. Yeah. Well, that's actually something I think you would do.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Of course you think it's something you would do.
Your
It's like what's in
subconscious
your
knows me
brain,
really
yeah.
well. A lot of that, I was just picturing Lindsay fighting Tim Gunn the whole time.
Oh yeah. She was big at karate chop. She was hiya chop.
So Lindsay played herself, right?
Yes.
But Gus played a scientist.
So when are we going
That
to
makes no sense.
I don't think Lindsay is an invisible secret agent. No. So in that sense,
But
she
she
didn't play
still
herself.
played. She still.
Well, Gus was still Gus.
Yeah.
I thought he was a scientist. Is he Gus?
He was
as
Gus.
a scientist,
Yeah.
or is he a scientist?
Just like Lindsay was a secret agent who was
Yeah.
invisible.
I bet it was Gus from the Angry Birds.
Gavin was like in like proper SAS gear with the beret and he has a cigar and all that.
When are we going to shoot this movie?
I don't know. I would love to, man.
Well, I'll just wait for the animated adventure.
This
It'll
idea
probably be a two-parter.
of Lindsay in a wedding dress with like a big, mini gun, like mowing people down. Would be the greatest
Also,
thing
if
ever.
the minigun shot karate chops.
Yeah. I was once in Spain with my friends, and we were
No.
kind of drunk, and we were like taking pictures of each other, like when we were walking home back to the hotel, and we saw this woman in a white gown, like in the street, and she was kind of like moving a bit weird, and we were like, "Oh, can you just take our photo?" And she was like doing this, but with one hand, and she was like holding her side. And I remember in the photo, we were like thinking it was cool because there was sirens going on, and like there was flashing of sirens that made the photo look cool. And then we're like, okay, just do one more, and we're like making her take all these photos. And then we realized there's an ambulance parked right behind us, and she's taking a picture of us against an ambulance. And then we had to do like 5 pictures, and then we're like, all right, thanks. And then she limped into the ambulance and got in.
Oh my god!
And she had called 999 or whatever the 911, whatever that is in Spain. And we was literally on the way to the ambulance. We were getting her to take photos of us.
Oh my
And it was like,
god.
we walked past the ambulance as well and just didn't think of it. We didn't think anything was wrong, and the sirens went. And she was all like injured and stuff, and just too drunk to
She,
notice.
she wasn't just like,
She didn't speak English, so
Ay, Dios mío.
and I don't speak Spanish.
Oh
but
my
afterwards, we were
God.
just like,
wow.
What if she died? Because she fucking like, well, if we gotten her 5 seconds earlier, she'd have been okay.
But I have so many pictures of us.
How were there
against
no
an
How were there no paramedics helping her or anything, or
I
like?
don't know. It was weird. It was like the paramedics just pulled up and were waiting for her.
Yeah,
That's strange.
I guess
she's
that's how
got
they-
to she's got to make it into the ambulance to get help.
Yeah, they're like looking at their watch, like, well, I don't
Just
know.
got 5 more minutes or we take off.
I got fucked the other day.
Brag about it.
Yeah.
I
Shout out
got
to
held
Esther.
hostage. Thanks. I got held hostage by technology and social media in the worst way imaginable.
Okay.
So I'm going to be moving soon. So I had to get a storage unit. And I had to take a bunch of shit and put it in the storage unit temporarily.
It's overrated.
Hey, let me tell my story.
All right, sorry.
Well, I
So-
have a
shut
question
up,
about
I'm
the
telling
sto-
a fucking
It's
story.
about the story.
All right, go ahead.
Why are you moving stuff into a storage unit?
Because the place I'm moving to is not done yet.
Right, but why are you moving then?
Because to show the house in order to sell it, you got to make it like look pretty and declutter it. It's all of that. And the guy who's helping me is like, he's like, oh hey, by the way, do you have your mobile phone on you? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, do you mind doing a quick survey for me? I was like, oh fuck. Okay, fine, whatever. So I pull out my phone.
Why would you agree?
Because I'm just trying to get out of there, right? I'm just like, sure,
That's not going to get
whatever.
you out. That's no is getting you out of there immediately.
Yeah,
No.
right. But it
Also,
gets-
who doesn't have a mobile phone? Do you
That's why
even call it that anymore?
It's a loaded question. So I'm like, sure, whatever. How do I do this? He goes, open up Google Maps. And I'm like, what? He's like, I'm like, okay. He's like, just type our address in there. I'm like, okay. He's like, you see, just rate it 1 to 5 stars. Like, oh, great. He wants me to fucking rate it on Google.
Right in front of him?
Yeah, and he's like over my shoulder looking
Yeah,
at me.
bullshit.
Like, all right, fine, 5 stars. Good job, buddy. He's like, okay.
You did it?
Yeah, and then like a text field opens up. He's like, now just write something personal about your experience with me in that box. I'm like, what? And I'm
The
like,
guy
okay.
made me do this.
Joe was awesome. Published. He's like, okay, great. I was like, all right, fine, bye. I walked out the door. As soon as I walk out the door, I deleted it.
Okay, I couldn't imagine that right now there's a review out there of you where you have like your face.
Chapter 2.
By the way, I want to point out something. You said you got held hostage by technology and social media. You got held hostage by your own inability to say no
That's
to
true.
this guy.
That is very true.
Your own social awkwardness.
Now you've pissed him off, surely.
No, wait. I've got a follow-up now.
Part 2.
So the next day I come back.
Oh.
I imagine it's the equivalent of a waiter like gobbing in your food. There's just like a little pile of spit in his storage unit. where the guy just
The next day I
it.
come back, and in order to use like their push carts, you have to like leave your ID at the front desk.
Oh, no.
And that same dude, Joe, was working there, and there's another dude who's also working there. And so I go to the other dude who I didn't deal with the day
bet you
before.
did.
And I'm like, hey, can I get one of those carts? He's like, yeah, sure, here you go. Go unload all my shit, come back to drop the cart off, and get my ID. He gives me my ID. He goes, oh, hey, by the way, Mr. Sorolla, I want to tell you something weird that happened. I was like, what happened? He goes, I went and I looked for your review on Google earlier today, and I couldn't find it.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God.
And I was like,
This is Joe or the other guy?
This is the other guy.
Really?
And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Joe watched me put it on there. He's like,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Why don't you let me watch you do it again?
No, you.
So then again, I scroll down, 5 stars. I typed the exact same thing. Joe was great. He goes, oh, but I'm helping you now too. So you got to write something about me too.
You're getting bullied at this point.
You're
paying me money.
What is going on? So I have to write something nice about this other guy now too.
No, you don't. That's the whole point.
So then I went home and I brought everything. I just did it all at once. I loaded everything. And I was like, all right, I don't need the cart anymore. Deleted it. I was like, I'm never going back there. I can never let this guy.
Yeah, you have to go back
Your
there.
stuff is there.
I don't know. I'll deal with that as future Gus's problem. Because present Gus is like up shit creek.
If you pay me $20, I'll go for you.
The next encounter with them, you don't have an answer. You can't be like, oh, weird, I did it.
Yeah.
And it went again. It disappeared again.
I now want to go rent a storage unit at that place so that when they tell me to do it, I'll just go 1 star. What else? Write something personal. The dude's a cunt. And just post it. I want to rent a storage unit just to do that. Because then they can't make me delete it.
Right.
There's nothing they can do.
Junior year of college, I had recently broken up with a pretty long-term girlfriend, and we were trying to do that thing where it's like, oh, we'll still be friends. She invited me to her 21st birthday, and I was like, trying to be nice, like, sure, yeah, I'll go. I didn't want to go. It was at her new boyfriend's house. I did not want to go.
Yeah,
I don't like parties in the first place.
Why did
very
you go?
much.
This is stupid.
Because I'm just awkward.
You're a giant pussy.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So I go to the party with a few friends. I have a miserable time.
Do you have a new girlfriend yet by this point? Like when you go to this party?
No, I did not.
Okay.
She was winning the ex-girlfriend battle.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why she invited
Sucks.
you.
It sucks.
She was slapping her giant girl dick all over you.
Her best friend made a homemade cake for her. It was a really beautiful cake. She was all happy, and I'm in the back, drinking lots and being curmudgeon about the whole thing. I finally found a time where I felt like, okay, I've been here for an appropriate amount of time. I can leave without anybody giving me shit. The last guy that we had to get home was my old roommate, Shay. And Shay loves parties. He has a great time at parties, and it's fun to watch him at parties because typically he's the guy that says, I know my limit, and he has no fucking idea what his limit is. So I tell him, hey, dude, we're going to go ahead and drive you home now. Come on in the car. He goes, okay, hold on. I have to run to the bathroom, and I got to grab something. I'll be right back. I'm like, okay, it's been a really long night. Tonight has been miserable. I've had to watch happiness be taken from me and then shoved in my face. Whatever. I get in the car. I'm really bitter. I'm really angry. Shay comes sprinting out of the house. He dives in the car. He goes, go, we gotta go, we gotta go. We take off. Dude, what's going on? He moves his cloak type, his jacket.
He's Batman.
He stole the cake. He took her 21st birthday cake that her best friend made for her. I'm like, why did you do that? It was a good cake. So he took the cake. My miserable night has done a complete 180. I'm now having the greatest night I've had. Near the UT campus is a place called Ken's Donuts.
Yes.
It is a 24-hour donut shop.
So good.
We mentioned Ken's Donuts, and all of a sudden, passed out, Shay goes, oh my God, I have an idea. We need to go to Ken's Donuts. Well, why is that? Well, I can buy donuts with this cake. Everybody stops. We've been having conversation. Everybody stops. I'm sorry, what was that, Shay? Well, I got this cake, and they got these donuts, so we could get donuts with this cake. Shay, that is a half-eaten cake. Yeah, it is. How many donuts do you think we could get with that cake? He stops and seriously stares for a good 30 seconds. So he's like, if I were to guess, I would say approximately 6 dozen. So we can get 6 dozen for a half-eaten birthday cake. At least. He's so full of himself. He's so confident we can get donuts. Adam's like, all right, so we're going to Ken's Donuts. We pull in. The poor old Indian guy there's like, hey, welcome to Ken's Donuts. How you doing? He slams down the table. So, let's make this happen. We're dying. Just like, oh no, he's gonna get himself arrested or something. The guy's like, let's make what happen? You know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And the guy's looking at us, and we just can't make eye contact because laughing so hard.
I can't believe you guys are going along with this the whole time.
Are you? Would you not? I had to see this through.
No, like just strap a GoPro onto him and just let him go.
So he goes, listen, I have sweets. You sell sweets. I think we know what's going on here. The guy seriously, I seriously don't know. He slams the table. Are you gonna buy my cake or aren't you? Give me donuts. At that point, the guy started to get annoyed and go for the phone, so we had to drag him out of there. And for the rest of the night, he was just sulking. It could have been, man. 6 dozen. You don't understand.
Did he take the cake back with
He
you?
took the cake with him.
Okay, good.
And it stayed on his counter for weeks until it went bad. I was so mad at him. But we ruined his dream that night. But he completely made my night.
It's gonna happen.
Nobody got donuts.
Nobody. Oh no! I mean, I bought donuts. I'm not gonna go to Ken's Donuts and not buy donuts.
I will say this: Mrs. Johnson's is better than Ken's Donuts.
Mrs. Johnson.
What's Mrs. Johnson?
It's on Airport.
I've been to Mrs. Johnson's. That place is delicious.
Mrs. Johnson's is way better and way cheaper.
It is.
I really want donuts right now.
It's a big rivalry for our school in particular. Anyway, but my buddy John Cross, I call my buddy, I fucking hate him. He's a fucking dickhead. John, if you're watching the podcast, I've never liked you. Ever. Sorry to break it to you. But he gets the idea. He goes, hey, Bernie, it's like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Let's run out the field. I go, I'm so drunk by this point, I'm like, let's do this. Yeah. So we go down, and it's like one of those things where the first row, there's a railing and then a drop off, like maybe like 6 feet. And so I was way too young to be drunk and in public like that. And so there's all these people, we're all crowding in, we're all about to jump. And I was excited because like John's right there, and he's like, we're gonna do this on 3, we're gonna go. We're all gonna go, it's gonna be a big rush. And so it's like, now it's like 2 minutes left in the game. So he goes, go. So we jump, everybody fucking jumps. I dart between 2 security guards, and there's all these fucking people. We rush the field, the game is still going on. I rushed out there, but I was the first one out, so I was so excited.
Cheering, right?
I'm cheering, I'm the first one out there. I get all the way out to midfield, I turn around, nobody else.
Oh my God.
Damn it. I'm out on the fucking center of the field with the football players by myself. And I'm so drunk. I'm out there, and they were like 20, 30 yards away from me, the football team, and the 2 football teams. And then I look up and I say, oh look, the band's coming out in the field. It's not the band, it's security guards. It's like a fucking, it's a group of security guards, and they start to like you around me. And then I realize it, and I'm drunk, and I'm so fucking drunk, I think to myself, if I get to the end zone, they can't touch me. Was the crowd cheering, Bernie? Wow. Bernie. Miles, can I tell you one of the greatest moments of my life? When I broke the goal line, everyone in that U went, yeah! And cheered, because I was hauling ass. I was trying
Get the fuck off me.
I was struggling to get away from them. I was running, and then I got to the end zone, and then I saw the tunnel, and I thought, I just got to make it to that tunnel. I'm running, I run by the goalpost, and this short Mexican woman security guard, she takes both her fists, and she goes, boom, right in the middle of my chest, and I did a fucking somersault backwards, land on my ass. And let me tell you, when security guards grab you, they are not nice.
No, they're not.
They were like
the asshole that ran on the field.
They were grabbing my throat and like fish hooking me and shit. And this is the unbelievable part of the story. They said, they grabbed me, and one guy goes, he like grabs me by the collar and yanks me, and he goes, kid, how old are you? And I said, I'm only 17. He goes, go back to your seat. Get out of here. What? Wow. They let me go back to my seat and watch the rest of the
That's really funny.
I would have been in Guantanamo today if that had happened. Yeah.
Oh my God! I can't believe they just sent you back to your seat.
I gotta find some buddies now for the linked up, see if any of my friends. Because there's pictures of it.
There's got to be video of that.
No, there's no. Honestly, there's not video from. You know, not everyone had a video camera.
8mm film, some of those rolls.
Yeah, there's a wide camera.
And now it appears a boy has run on the field. And, Consuela from Family Guy is subduing. That's what I imagined when he said a short Mexican one. Just no, like
boosh. She fucking decked me. Yeah, Jeff's sick too, right?
Everyone's sick.
You say it with such disgust.
Are you sick?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's that healthy British immune system.
No, I thought you were one of the guys who went down. I thought you had a...
I had a sore throat for like a day, and I was good.
And you're like, I can't be bothered.
Well, I always find that it's mental, because sometimes if you feel like you're getting sick, you just start feeling it, and then you give in and you become sick. But the last few times I've had that feeling, I've just been like, I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna do it this time, and I'll skip it. I'll get like a bit groggy for a day, and then it's whoop, Straight back up.
Really?
I haven't been sick for years.
You would make the world's shittiest doctor. Because that'd be your advice. It's like, oh, you're getting sick? Yeah, just don't do that. Just you know.
Imagine
do that
you're
less.
not sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Fine.
But you can cure hiccups that way. Have you ever done that where you just... what are you laughing at?
Well, I imagine someone coming to you and they say, Dr. Free, I have cancer. And you go, oh, I got that. Stop. Give it up.
Just cut it out. Just stop it.
Should I tell my story about how I get Kara out of our office?
Tell it. You already brought it up. Yeah, you already brought it up. Don't be a douchebag.
All right.
It's all Jack, though.
All right. So I don't know the circumstance exactly.
I know the circumstance.
Do you?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay.
So yeah, you.
I'll tell the circumstance only because Jack brought it up. I'll tell the circumstance.
Okay. Thank you.
Kara was over Jeff's house. So he has these Peggle nights where people just come over and they take turns playing Peggle.
They take turns trying to get achievements for him.
Yeah.
Kara just walked in.
Here comes Kara. So I'll continue to tell the story, Kara. Oh, she slammed the door. Now I gotta tell the story. So Gavin or Jeff or whatever beat one level of Peggle, like got whatever they perfected that they need to, and Gavin got so excited, was like, yes! Like he ran over to Jeff and jumped into his arms and like wrapped himself around Jeff, and Jeff went like this and put his hands in the air, and Gavin slid down him and just ripped his pants right down. And Gavin said it a couple seconds later, and he looks up and realizes his boxers were down too, and Jeff's dong is just hanging out, and Kara was there, and she's like, so now, and Jeff was like, this is at his house.
Yeah.
So
now, anytime Kara is giving a tour of our office, I have to make it a point to go, hey guys, make sure Kara tells you about the time she saw Jeff's penis. Every single time.
And it's funny because half the time, like again, depending on who the guest is, she'll be like, "That's not true. That's a lie," and Jack will be like, "It's true.
It's absolutely true."
And Jeff's like, "It's fucking funny because it's not funny if I tell the story,
or if Gavin
tells the story." But Jack wasn't even there, so he just throws it out there and completely derails anything she's talking about.
Yeah. So. It's
a total dick move, but it's hilarious.
It is indeed a dick move.
Whoa, yes.
But
unintentional nudity, though. It was not intended.
I played GTA Online a few times with Miles. I remember the first time we played together. Like I'd been running around and like I'd been getting into like these off and on like gunfights with these other dudes in the session I was in.
Yeah.
Miles drives up. I'm like, hey man, what's up? And we're in a party. Yeah. He's like, hey.
That's not what happened.
Is that not how it started? How did it start?
Here's how it started. I went to the golf course. I went to the country club, and I'm waiting there, and I'm like, "Hey man, you coming?" And you go, and I hear, "Yeah, sorry, these guys are messing with me." I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's fine." I'm like just doing donuts in the parking lot, just kind of bored, waiting, and then I hear. You come driving in, and your car's fucked. I'm like, "Oh, well, glad you made it." And you go, "Yeah, like I said, there are these guys in." They're here! And these dudes come over the wall in like a car and shoot me to death and just start run!
Golf has been compromised.
Yeah. It was just
it was not safe. Pulled up guns, just had this giant fight.
It was incredible. Just, they're here, run! Miles, save yourself! Gus had survivor's guilt that day.
Yeah.
He was like, I could have golfed better.
Yeah.
Not everyone had to die.
Speaking of the wedding,
go ahead.
You almost pulled the ultimate prank at that wedding.
Fuck, I had it down.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Wait, are we talking about the same thing? I almost did a couple
I'm
things.
talking about the...
What?
The
So fucking close.
That would have been
so close.
So fucking terrible.
And got ruined for me by people who are
Could you explain?
much nicer. Two things I tried to do. I almost ruined Michael and Lindsay's wedding twice. One was
you were trying hard.
There was no way that Gavin forgot. There's no way that he remembered to turn off his phone. I thought there's no way he remembered that. And so it's a big promenade or whatever they call that, procession of everyone coming out. They're doing that. Lindsay comes out, everything. Lindsay looked beautiful in her dress. Michael hates Gavin's ringtone, which is that.
If you're gonna do it, put some effort into it.
I
thought that was pretty good.
This is how I know how.
You've really got to make it hit. It's got to be like. It's gonna be like piercing.
That's it.
Yeah, but so I had in my text, don't forget to turn off your phone. And I was waiting for is there anyone who objects to this union? I was waiting on that. But I was like, and then I was like, Ashley texted me, she goes, if you fucking send that, she was like, do not do that. So I actually waited all the way until the whole thing was over, and they were coming out, and I sent it, and nope, he had his phone off.
You went for it.
Completely off.
I think I checked to see if my phone was on silent about 10 times before I walked down the stairs, And in the end, I just turned my phone completely off. I was like, I might knock it, or it might flash through my pocket.
But
Wow.
tell the other
They
thing.
owe me money. Okay, so the other thing was, Gavin doesn't respect a wedding because he's doesn't just like.
I'm
you're emotionless.
I'm not a fan of tradition.
Emotionless.
And like all the weird stuff.
Monty is too busy to care. Monty's like, he's there and he's thinking about other stuff. It's like, Monty, if I'm Monty, I'm like, okay, I'm at a wedding, but okay, I gotta go to work at some point. So we're eating appetizers and before well, you guys are outside taking pictures. And Monty's like, where are they? And I said, they're outside taking pictures. You know, Monty's like, what, they didn't take pictures before? It's like, no, because the bride and groom couldn't see each other. He goes, meh. And then we're sitting there and we're just chit-chatting with Monty. And I look over and I see the cake and I go, hey, Monty, want a piece of cake? And he goes, yeah, what kind of cake is it? I go, I don't know. He goes, I go, just get a piece. I go, get me a piece when you get one too. He goes, okay. Sheena goes, what are you doing? He took a full step towards the cake. And I was like,
he was going to cut a wedding cake.
I was like, oh my God. This is going to be the greatest moment of my life if Monty starts cutting the cake before they even get inside.
That would have been a meltdown.
Oh my God.
But if
You are the worst.
If it's Monty, it would have been really funny.
Why?
Because look, I mean, they had a wedding and they cut the cake, and
Why
that's
would
like.
just be sitting there eating the cake?
Also, I don't think he'd be sorry, would he? Like, Lindsay would be like, what? He'd be like, I mean,
it's cake.
It's cake. I was going to eat it anyway.
What a piece of cake. So I almost got Monty to cut the cake. I was that close to getting Monty to cut the cake. No.
Especially if you cut right in the front of it.
This is why
Cena ruined all the fun, man.
This is why I don't want to get married in front of anyone I know. I would just go away somewhere, do it secretly.
If I got Monty to cut your cake before and you came in for pictures and Monty's eating your wedding cake,
I wouldn't
you would
care.
think that was funny. South by Southwest is a big film festival that happens here in Austin. Oh, we're doing a panel too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's the current plan.
Yeah.
But Gus said, hey, we have a panel, so we're just going to call it the Rooster Teeth panel. And I said, nope, we have to come up with a better title than that. So I came up with, Gus and I went back and forth on AIM. We came up with the longest, most ridiculous title for our panel. The title for our panel is longer than the description of the panel.
Let me look it up. The title is Alternative Careers in Gaming. The Science of Play Redefined as Art via Content Creation in the Ongoing and Evolving Paradigm of the Post-Network Media Environment. What does it mean to you? Featuring Rooster Teeth. It's got a colon, it's got parentheses, it's got a dash.
And you need all those words in
And
there.
they're going to have to put it on like one of those cards that goes up on the stupid tripod outside the room. The only thing they would make it better is if they saw that and they put it in, but they just abbreviated the whole thing, like made an acronym out of our panel name. We need to see if that spells anything funny as an acronym.
I gotta give the signal.
I thought it was upside down. Are we ready for the intro?
Do you want to play?
I gave the signal.
Go with the theme song.
This is not a drill.
Gavin or
Hey.
Google? Google or Gavin? Which one said it? Let's find out. Hey!
I'm feeling lucky.
Okay.
So
if
I
this
love how that
is
exists. I love that picture of you two.
all right, the first phrase that I gave to both Gavin and Google is, "Can you break?" First person or machine returned the phrase, "Can you break your own neck if you really wanted to?"
Okay.
Okay.
The others returned, "Can you break your lungs if you only breathe in?"
Lungs is Gavin. Your own neck is Google.
Barbara?
I'm going to have to agree with Gus.
I'm going opposite. I'm saying the neck is Google.
Barbara and
That's,
Gus.
wait, that's exactly what we said.
Exactly.
So that's not opposite.
I'm
You're
going to
agreeing with
disqualify
us.
him. I'm disqualified.
I'm disqualified. I'll take
So
it.
it's not who said it, Gavin, Google, or Jack. You guys are right. Gus and Barbara, you are correct.
Hey.
Gavin wanted to know if you could break your lungs.
How do you break a
Gav
lung?
doesn't understand the whole like rebreathing of air.
I just imagine Gavin going, "Can you break a lung?"
But someone can breathe for you, can't they? Like, but when you breathe, you're not just inflating your lungs with air. You pull out your rib cage, right? And that just sucks air in your lungs.
Right.
So if someone got your rib cage and just like yanked on it, air would fly in and explode your lungs, wouldn't it?
That is true.
Yeah, but it's not the air doing it. It's the person who's
Plus,
yanking
also,
your ribs.
your ribs would probably all fucking crack before that happened.
But couldn't they, like really hard?
Gavin,
Think about how
He's been playing Surgeon
how
Simulator
dumb
too
what
much.
you're saying. If someone comes up to you and yanks on your ribs, and then your air rushes in, that's not you breathing in too much. That's a motherfucker yanking on your ribs. It's like if somebody shoots you in the head, it's not the air that got in that kills you. It's the person who shot you in the head.
It's the air that gets into your brain.
You don't need to overthink it.
So you can't.
Doctor, what do you think happened to this patient? He has air on the brain.
Yes. Oxygen contamination.
Oxygen has contaminated his brain cells.
All right. The next question was, this involves babies. So. Really, dude? All right. Okay. All right. All right. Which one? I said, do babies. ... First question was, do babies poop in the womb? The other one was, do babies float?
Well, assuming that do babies float is Google makes me really concerned about the health of our babies in this country. It's like, I've got this new baby. I wonder if it's gonna float. Before I throw it in the pool, let's do a Google search.
Or maybe it's people just trying to solve a really weird, like, physics homework problem. All right,
you have to go
who said
first.
it?
You have to go first this time, Barbara.
I think do babies float is Google.
Do babies float is Google, and what do you say?
I agree.
All right,
There
you're
you go.
all wrong. It turns out that Gavin wanted to know, do babies float?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Why?
Well, I'd heard of babies being born in water, and I thought that's pretty cool. But then I just thought, well, what happens next, though? Like.
You thought they go down the drain?
No, they've got a guy with a pool skimmer on the side of the water, like ready to scoop the baby out. He's like, I caught a dead possum with this thing. The baby's no problem.
There's an emergency scuba team to get it off the bottom of the pool just in case.
They got little baby-sized scuba gear to put on its face.
The world is so stupid.
Excuse me, Creeper.
Michael, have you won yet?
No, I haven't won. I'm not doing good at all.
Well.
I got nothing.
Right.
Ow.
Hey,
a tree is go in here for a bit of a mission. There's Edgar.
Well, what other point is there to being king?
Nothing.
Can we kill Edgar?
No, you cannot kill Edgar. Oh, Creeper. Don't explode. Don't explode. Shh, it's okay.
If I was a cow, where would I be?
We're getting
Get up there. Get up there. Get up there. Get up there. Get out, Edgar. Run.
Nah.
Oh, fuck.
Well, it definitely sucks, but it's not the end of the world.
Did you fill me in, Ryan?
Go, Edgar. Go. You're free.
Oh,
You're fucking
whoa,
free. You're free. You're
mining
free.
is
You're free.
not
Run, bitch.
Cool, man. I got
Damn
zero.
it, Edgar. No, don't go back. Don't go back, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You fucking stupid cow. You fucking stupid fuck. You fucking stupid cow. Get the fuck out of here. He's free.
We're definitely not safe.
We can save.
I mean, it's just cobblestone, but you know. Don't cut to my screen.
All right, my work here is done. Did nobody seriously find iron yet?
Have you found any iron, Michael?
You go down with the
No, I haven't.
It's fucking
You saw that, Gavin?
impossible to do this.
I absolutely did.
Yeah.
I mean,
It was the whole thing,
third
dude.
person.
It
That
was
was
the
top.
whole thing.
I heard it.
I finally figured out a way that
I
makes
glanced
third
at
person
first.
suck a little less.
Took a
Yeah,
lot longer than I thought.
still a lot of fun.
You would never ages.
He didn't want to cooperate.
Yeah, no.
Shocking.
Ray has won.
Hey! All right, congratulations, Ray.
Congratulations to
It
Ray.
wins King Ray.
Well done, Ray. Let's go back home.
Let's go back
We
to
go
Achievement
wreck the
City.
tower?
Let's
That was
fucking
a close-
wreck
that
this
was a-
tower.
So we're gonna save, right?
I'll see you bitches at Atch City. Yeah, we'll save.
All right, we're at Achievement City.
I'm lost.
Somebody
All
knocked
right,
the
so
kung
the
fu off my
ultimate pimps
house.
is
Oh shit.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
What's
shit.
up, Edgar?
An animal. Literally, he's a cow.
How's Edgar doing?
He's fine.
Boing, boing.
Oh, and Edgar 3 is laid an egg.
Yeah, your chicken laid an egg, dude.
Sweet.
Oh,
What?
Edgar 3's a chicken?
Yeah.
Huh.
I gotta admit, I'm a little confused by that too.
I don't.
There's no reason.
You son of a bitch, Ryan.
I've been living a lie.
Son of a bitch.
What?
Bullshit.
Wait, what?
No way that's actually Edgar. No way. No way you got him back in there. There's no way. You bastard!
He's missing.
We free.
You said we didn't get a reaction. I said Edgar free in the middle of the video, and Ron went reached out to him. No! Damn it! You sick bastard! It was a whole elaborate escape.
Oh my
Jesus
God!
Christ.
Michael's face.
No! I was like, did we restart? I'm like,
Michael,
son of a
that's why
bitch.
Michael's coming to me. He's like, dude, we gotta save.
The
I'm
look
taking
of
a piss earlier. He's
confusion
like,
on
we
your
gotta
face
save.
was priceless.
You gotta fucking save, Jeff.
I wonder how long he was free for. Did you see me do it, Ryan?
Nope.
I'm so mad we didn't get Ryan's reaction from it. So you saw that it was gone and then silently repaired it.
Yep.
God damn it!
What'd you do? Did you get him to follow you with wheat or something?
Yeah, I did.
Push him in?
I went and fucking grew wheat and led a cow back.
But wait. Did you get Edgar back?
I don't know.
You got a random cow. So
Edgar,
no, of course it mattered.
Look,
That was the original.
You don't
Edgar.
understand. Edgar is the one in the hole.
Yeah.
Dude, if I end up in the hole of Edgar.
Oh my God.
There, Edgar.
His name is Robert Paulson.
Disturbing person.
His name is Robert
Ryan is a
Paulson.
lunatic.
I am terrified.
You know, the worst part is I came back to improve Edgar's living conditions. I was gonna expand his hole. All
He's
he
in the
did
wild.
was make
You're
it
full of
worse.
shit. I'm gonna sleep better at night knowing the real Edgar set
You're
free.
gonna expand nothing.
And, Ryan just captured another poor cow and he named it
That
Edgar.
is sickening.
Farewell,
Man, I
Tower.
was really excited for your reaction. You fucking ruined it.
Yeah.
No, he didn't ruin it.
No. I think I made it better.
I had a girlfriend one time who
Congratulations.
told me she. Thanks, man. It was pretty exciting.
Did you
told
marry
me, told me she was like, she used to talk to trees, and I was like, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I was like, that's fun. Yeah, all right.
See
like
ya.
Like, nah, you'd be like, oh, like you get bored or something, and you're hanging out, and she's like, no, I mean, like I communicate with trees, and I was like, well, do they talk back? And she's like, well, she got real embarrassed and kind of shy, and she's like, kind of, and I was like, what does that mean? And she's like, well, I communicate with nature, with the trees, and I was like, wait, like a tree hugger? And she's like,
Gaia?
she's like, I do hug trees. She got kind of indignant, and I was like,
God.
all right, well, it was.
Wait, so this was your girlfriend, or she really want to date with?
She was briefly my girlfriend.
You put it in her?
Did she?
You were the tree.
Did she connect herself to the tree like Avatar? Like
Or
tie a
like
leaf
an
around
Evil
her?
Dead one. I don't.
Or the remake?
I didn't see the remake. Was there a tree fucking scene in the remake?
There was.
Well, at least they stayed true to the roots.
Oh, nice, Jeff.
Hey,
It
comedy.
just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So was that girl different to the one who didn't like you watching her eat?
Same girl. Actually, would refuse to be seen eating. This girl would wait for me to go to the bathroom, and then she would eat. I would look away on
Delicious.
purpose so that she could take bites.
Jesus.
That's
Yeah.
fucking bizarre.
Be on a date.
Yeah,
Karen.
we
Ladies,
didn't,
eat your
own that
goddamn
eating.
food.
we
Eat your
didn't
food.
last.
Fucking Christ. Nobody gives a shit.
Was it the tree thing or the food thing that really caved that relationship in?
Like, I don't think it was either per se. The tree thing was odd. We just weren't compatible, you know.
Did anyone
It wasn't
get,
a love match.
You weren't made of bark. So
I don't remember how we broke up or why. I really don't remember if I broke up with her or she broke. Fuck. I wonder if she's listening right now.
Did anyone go for paper,
Absolutely.
rock, scissors? Put the two things I heard.
Dude, I found a creeper that doesn't want to hurt
Though
me.
depending on the day, one can be very much like the
don't
other.
hurt me.
Ah, I've got
Don't hurt me.
I got a friendly creeper.
No more.
All right, buddy. You wanna come with me?
He is gonna
I don't know
detonate
where
and
the
blow
hell
your
to
dick
go.
off.
No, he's good.
I'm trying
Look.
to find my way out. Oh, is this it?
Look at all the stuff you're gonna lose.
Nope,
I want
dead
you to
end,
just take
you
all that
rat
in for a
fuck.
minute, Gavin, because you're gonna not see it. In
You
a
want a
minute.
bone? You want a bone? Yes, you do. Have a bone. You like bones, don't you, little buddy? All right, he doesn't like bones. I'm just gonna leave him.
He just doesn't like you.
All right, so
Spider
pumpkins,
Jockey's
huh?
burst into
I
flames.
couldn't fucking
This
find
one's
my
not
way
friendly.
out.
Oh, bugger.
I just watched that happen. See the spider jockey on fire again?
Yeah. You want a bone?
Why can't I just
You
make
want a
4
bone?
shovels? I'm dumb.
It's a long way off.
Well, prepare early.
A lot of
What's
fucking...
going on?
There we go.
How do you think this is gonna go, Ray? One's gonna be like.
What is-
and
I
then
think
we're
I
all gonna be
found my parents.
and fall through.
Dad?
All right.
That
Welcome
you?
to my
Dude,
life.
try not to get fucking blasted, dude.
They're not blowing me up.
Well,
Later that
what's your
second-
enchant on your armor? Is it something about like
repellents or something?
No, because I just fought a
Is
creeper
it
and it blew up
creeper
in my damn
lover?
face.
All right. Gavin's gone native. He's
Can
getting
you bring
raised
them
by the
with us,
locals
dude?
now.
Throw the creepers at
Maybe,
the dragon.
maybe they're getting married and they want me to do the ceremony or something.
Are you gonna officiate?
I'm pretty sure that's
That was
exactly
my
what
first
they want.
thought. Yeah.
I'm glad that I've got some family members now.
Were you an orphan before this?
Where's the brother creeper that's superior in every way to you?
All right.
Did your parents discipline you? What
Well,
happened?
okay.
Your parents reject you.
There go my parents. They suddenly decided they didn't want me anymore.
Dude, that was tragic. You finally found them after so long. Like, well,
All right. Is
you're
it
not
dark?
worth living.
I didn't think you could fly.
I did it.
So what? Okay, there are no two objects that are the same length, right? Because
Every
of-
object is the same length. I'm just refuting you. Of course, there's two objects that are the same length.
Where?
What does that mean?
No.
To what precision?
Real precise.
Oh, to real precision.
Proper, like, well zoomed in. Would that be
Proper,
like this?
well zoomed in, real precision.
But I'm wondering which two objects, man-made, are the similarest in size.
What if I
yeah.
had a rock that was this big?
Or like a rock that's this exact same size as your skull.
Yeah.
Or whether the top of your skull is probably like a mountain range or close up.
What's that mean?
Like lumpy and not smooth.
You know, it depends. I've lived a good life. I got some
If
things.
the universe is infinite and all possibilities exist, is there a rock on a planet somewhere that looks exactly like Bernie's skull? You're like,
Yeah,
holy shit.
Absolutely.
That's the power of infinity. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like imagine astronaut Bernie landing on this alien planet. Like that rock looks just like my face.
Not only is there a chance that it's exactly there's a rock that looks exactly like your skull. There's an infinite number of rocks that look exactly like your skull.
Would you?
I just want to find one.
Infinity is a crazy powerful concept.
I hate having to knock on
I've
people
done
and
stuff like
sell
that
them
before.
something.
People are mean, especially when they're on their own property.
Yes.
Because it's theirs, and it's like you're invading the only place that they have.
This company just hired girls though to do that. We also wash them in bikinis. So I'm just kidding.
So you said how people are mean, on their own property.
Yeah.
I have a bay window in my dining room. I regularly open up the curtains and I stand there and I look out in my yard and I just say, "Get off my property." And my wife will be like, "Who are you talking to?" And I'm just like, "Everyone."
Are you talking to the
I'm like,
squirrel?
no, but there's not even anybody there. Just like in general, I'm just like, "Get off my property." Just like, whatever, just so people know, don't be on there.
You have to say it occasionally just in case someone you don't see is on it. Like when they put up no trespassing signs.
Yeah.
They're not directed at anybody in particular. It's just like when the person
Just so you
shows
know.
up, it was
Do
posted.
you have like weird fantasy, or like if someone does walk up, are you like, yes,
Man,
I've been
take
waiting
one
for
more
this
step.
moment.
Get off.
We read a. But we have a problem in that we have so much ivy around the